To my knowledge, Wednesday.
Well, we're happier than a camel on Wednesday, baby.
Jake Bock.
Coach told me when we're in Rome, we do as Romans. And when we're in Italy, we do as Italians. So Italians, they eat pizza after the game.
Tom and Bock starts now.
Welcome in. It's hour number one of Tom and Bock. I picked up something, the creepy crud, Bock. So bear with me today. I'll try to scream into the microphone. Right. And that will help my voice for sure. I don't know where I got this. It's a cold. Don't worry. I've had COVID twice, and I've been vaccinated 100 times. So I'm good.
You're immunized.
I'm immunized, as Aaron Rodgers would say. I'm good. I'm cold, Jerry. Cold Jerry. I think what made me sick was that game last night. I mean, that game, I felt like this can't be happening. 19, well, actually, it was 33 to, I think, 18 when I left my chair at PPA. I got up, Bock. I couldn't take it anymore. I wandered toward the top. I had to start talking to myself. I didn't get angry at anyone, but Brian T., who's one of our listeners, security at the University of Nebraska, came over and talked to me. I think he was worried about me. He's like, "Are you okay, Tom?
Yeah.
I saw you get up from your chair. What's the deal?" Like they're keeping an eye on the security, apparently is keeping an eye on me the entire game now. Like, you got to watch that Stevens. He's going to go crazy. He's going to get mad at the officials, and then all hell is going to break loose. That's not what happened. It was like 33 to 15. And I said, Heidi, I need to get something to drink. I can't sit here and watch this right now. So I wandered up toward the top, and then Kobe came in, hit a jumper, mid-range shot, then a couple threes, and then it gets closer and closer in a 1-point game, and Nebraska goes down 4 at halftime, 40 to 36, and I'm thinking, okay, I'll go back to my seat. I should have stayed away. Because I kind of gave myself a credit for the comeback because I left the seat, and Nebraska, the mojo returned. And then not so much.
The world just revolves around Tom Stevens.
That's right. It always revolves around me. Enough about me. What do you think of me? But Nebraska falls 77-69. And I guess what I was thinking is what I told the guys, Schaefer and Happer, that here's a brand new squad in Creighton. And they're playing together better than I've seen a Nebraska basketball team play together for 40 minutes. I don't know since last I saw that from a Nebraska basketball team. And of course, Creighton had played really poorly in the first 2 games. But they got by those games. They found a way to win those games. And then against Nebraska, they step up and they play overall pretty well. They weren't in fuego by any means either. They shot 46% from the field in Creighton. But they were 43% from 3-point range. And they only took 20 free throws, 11 of 20. Nebraska, it's what they've shot like 41, 38, 37 last night. Yeah. And we thought this was going to be a good shooting team, and I still think it is. And they shot the 3 rather well last night, going 10 of 26, 8 of 15 in the first half, only 2 of 11 in the second half. They only took 4 free throws actually 9 free throws in the entire game. And they made 7 of them for 77%. So I mentioned how I was mad because of that. That was why I was angry. Here's a brand new team, and they look more cohesive. They've got a really good point guard, and Ryan Nemhard. He's good.
He's going to be really good.
He's really, really good. But what was your first thought after watching that game? What was your emotion after watching that game?
Just frustration. It kind of piles up. You try to separate things going on right now, but and you kind of mentioned this on the handoff. It just feels it's almost hopeless to be a Nebraska fan right now, right? Now, there you go. There it is. You lost 10 of 11 to Creighton. Now onto the football side where you've lost 7 in a row to Wisconsin. And after that, you get Iowa, who you lost 6 in a row to. So it just, we talk about during the football season, kind of the same episode. And it's not fair to Fred Hoiberg in his program only in year 3, but you kind of stack up all the previous Creighton wins because a lot of them look like that. A lot of them have Creighton playing team basketball, hitting threes, getting a big lead on Nebraska, almost insurmountable. And then, in the end, it's just too much. And Nebraska did come back, almost even took the lead. I thought there were some positives out there. I think if you just kind of can get in your head that, okay, CJ Wilcher can do that. Kobe Webster can do that. If you could maybe get them hot on the same night that Bryce scores 29 or Andre has his performance that he did last game. I mean, so there's hope in the future that this team can really be lethal if they all get going at once. Or at least just more consistently, but they've got a ways to go. And the offense identity is kind of the big question, I think, coming out of that game. What do you want to be? We know that Creighton's the offense that looks like that's what it would be perfect to be, but it's hard to get there. And I thought that they played better as far as team offense and moving the ball around. I know Verge got some boos from the crowd for not being able to do that, and even got benched for not doing that at times. But at the same time, Verge and McGowan's, who were attacking the first 2 games, they didn't get to the free throw line this game. Part of that's because a couple no calls. Part of that's because Creighton had a rim protector and they kind of shot away from it. But, I think that the answer might be in between passing the ball around and having those guys draw fouls at the rim.
Brian T says this. He says he wasn't keeping an eye on me last night. He has security, along with a few other guys there at the PVA. He says he wasn't watching me. He was just doing his rounds. And I got extra attention from him because I either looked inebriated or upset. I think it was upset. I'm upset at almost every game, even when it goes well. I thought I was fairly calm for me last night. I mean, there were people that were way worse than I was. And that's kind of what I want to know about the mood right now for Husker basketball. Already 1-2. I don't think we would feel as bad had they beaten Western Illinois, because you were thinking there's a 50-50 shot to beat Creighton.
Yeah.
If you were 2-1 right now, and then the fact that you lose Trey McGowan's, your best on-ball defender, maybe your best Swiss Army knife guy, the guy that can kind of do everything.
Team even.
Yeah, he's the leader. He's the voice of your team, and that's why I think I'm a little down today, because I don't know how you're going to get by until he gets back, or if he gets back, and maybe it's more if than when. It's probably not a great chance that he'll be back. I don't know. I'm not a doctor.
And if he comes back, how effective would it be? Because a lot of his game's based on that attack.
Right. Absolutely. 464-5685. We're taking your calls on the Honda of Lincoln hotline, the Sutter Heyman text line. Nebraska basketball outcoached. Oh, yes, and out-recruited. Do you agree with that?
Yeah. I mean, I don't. You got to give you tip of the hat to Creighton, which you hate to do, but that's a pretty new squad together, and they look like they've been playing for 2 to 3 years, together. And that's just kind of Coach McDermott's system. And when you talk about the recruiting part, he recruits to a system. He can go to Division II, pluck a guy that will fit perfectly in a system. And last night he had 15, 10, and 5 in Hawkins,
right.
They've got that top recruiting class that, certain guys are right away kind of guys, other guys are developmental, but, they've just got some pieces, shooting, size, true point guard. They've put some things together. Nebraska, it seems like, will just recruit a lot of different guys, and then once they get those guys on campus, figure out what to do from there. And that's kind of where they're at right now is, how do these pieces fit where Creighton's everybody kind of fits right into the role?
Yeah, they know who they are. They've definitely got an identity. I think Hoiberg knows what he wants his identity to be. He's spoken about it. It's very clear. They'd like to spread the floor, go 5 out a lot, and knock down threes. But to do that, you need a good point guard, a point guard who's willing to distribute the basketball. And Alonzo Verge is trying to grow in that role. He's not a natural point guard. He's never been a point guard. You kind of feel with his talent, he could do it. But he may not have that certain thing that allows you to be a quarterback. Not everybody can be a quarterback. And that's basically what a point guard is. And somebody on the text line mentioning that. Adrian Martinez, Alonzo Verge, similar problems. I wouldn't agree necessarily with Adrian. I think at times he's been spectacular. And other times he hasn't had his help or hasn't had enough help around him. Let's get to the Honda of Lincoln hotline and welcome in Jason. Hi, Jason.
Hey, Tom. Hey, Jake. Frustrating last night, guys. I wish Nebraska could come out against Creighton and just be ready from the get-go. And Hoiberg talked about that. Miles' teams were horrendous at that. It would be 20 minutes into the game before Miles and the players even realized they were playing Creighton. Man, that was frustrating last night. It's just same old, same old. And for the first time, I was really frustrated with Hoiberg. I just wish teams would watch that Texas Tech team that went to the Final Four a couple of years ago. They came out every game ready to play. They had grit, hard picks, physical, you're not going to get every rebound, guys. You're not going to hit every three-pointer. You're not going to, make every free throw. But if there's one team that is like we're here to play some ball, Creighton's always that team. They're come out, they drain three-pointers. They didn't make all of them last night, but then they made a lot of them. And they're just ready to play. I know McDermott a little bit. He was at Wayne State when I was a student. I did PA there for 3 years. I wouldn't say I know McDermott great, but good coach. And, man, he always pulls rank on Nebraska year after year. I'm so tired of this. I wish Hoiberg, this far in would have been like, guys, I'm going to drill this so far into you to be ready that you're, just sick of hearing about it. And I know he did some of that, but obviously it was not enough. So anyway, thank you, gentlemen.
Thanks, Jason. 464-5685. The text line. PPA will be emptying out as the season goes along, especially for the next couple of non-conference games. Then again, I could see us losing at least one of those. Hopefully not Friday night against Idaho State. I don't know what they've got, but I would hope that you can get on track versus Idaho State. I almost think that this team, Jake, and see what you think, needs to find that gritty guy. Jason talked about it, the lack of grit and toughness. And it doesn't seem to be the toughest team that you've ever seen in your life. And, rebounding is part of that. Rebounding and defense is kind of how you grade that for a basketball team. I wonder if they almost could just look down the bench and see, is there a Benny Parker? Is there a spark plug out there that is willing to go out and play some defense? Because that was Trey McGowan's.
Yeah.
That was the guy that always was playing the hardest, I saw.
Oh, yeah.
And now you've lost that guy for maybe the entire season. Who knows? Look down your bench and find that grit guy who's willing to give up shots and distribute the basketball and play hard-nosed defense. There's got to be somebody down that bench that can provide that. And maybe that's your spark. Because last night the spark was Kobe Webster, and good for him, who hadn't played all year because he had back spasms. And then he comes in with like 7 minutes left to go in the first half and just lights a fuse. And is 8 of 11, I believe, for the game, and has 20 points, his career high. That was good to see, right? And he's a willing passer in many cases. He's not a natural point guard is the problem there.
Yeah, but again, I think that's promising to at least see Kobe get back in the action. His first action of the season, CJ Wilcher looked better than he ever has, at Nebraska, or even probably at Xavier. So, I don't know. There's different lineups that they're probably going to be experimenting with, especially with Trey out, to see kind of who works well together, runs well together. But I don't know if you have that guy that you're talking about to look down the bench, because this team, as you mentioned, Hoiberg's not necessarily recruiting to rebounding. He's that's not the system or the column that he wants to win more so than anything else. And so it's just kind of a different approach to the basketball, philosophy, strategy, all that. But I don't know. I don't know if you have that guy. You've got a lot of guys that kind of can spread the floor and kind of more finesse than that. And so, that's why this is going to be a problem all year long. They need to kind of get that attitude in them so that they don't lose the rebounding battle by 14. And that looks like it's going to be a problem every night. And some of it is that, is the hustle, is the grind, but some of it's just the players that you have. So I wonder if you really wanted to improve that, maybe Eduardo Andre, just pure size, play him more. He struggled at times last night. He looked like he was forcing it. So maybe but you just got a lot of different personalities and a lot of different guys growing in the game of basketball and learning in their role. And so it'll take some time for this team to get there. And that's what I would say is just have some patience. I hear a lot of, this is it. This is awful. It's just Nebraska basketball. Once again, they're not going to win more than 7. Give this team some time because this team's got a lot of talent on it and a lot of young pieces that are learning how to play together. And you shouldn't expect them 3 games in to be a well-oiled machine in midseason form, especially against a pretty good Creighton team. This isn't an 8-point loss to Western Illinois, right? Yeah. This was a formidable opponent that you lost to. Again, it matters more to us. We're here in Nebraska, 10 out of 11, kind of all that stuff kind of piling on. Creighton's been the better basketball program, looks at least right now like they'll be the better basketball program. You want to take that over. I get all that. But I don't think the time is now to abandon this team because they've shown that they've got a lot of potential. Like I said, if you get Wilcher and McGowan's and May and get all those guys going at the same time, they've shown flashes, and that's basketball. It's up and downs, but the hope is that eventually they learn to play together enough and are playing complementary ball that they are helping each other get into those ups rather than those ups and downs.
All right, you're trying to talk me out of my funk. I like it. It's a long season. I will say this: if you're going to get out rebounded by 14, and you're not going to play always great defense, you better shoot better than that. And that's what we thought Nebraska would live on. And they did shoot the 3-pointer very well in the first half. Again, 53% from the field, that got them back in it. I just think if you're so deficient in certain areas, and they are, we know their weaknesses, we know their flaws. We thought their strength would be shooting the basketball, and that's got to be. It's going to have to be big time. Let's get to break and come back with more. It's Tom and Bock.
Download our app by searching 93.7 The Ticket in your app store to stay in touch and listen all day long wherever you are. This is Tom and Bock.
Listening to this Allstate commercial about savings might be the hardest thing about getting those savings. Save for simply becoming an Allstate customer. Save more for adding DriveWise. And save even more for driving safely. Visit Allstate.com or contact your local agent for a quote today. Allstate. Minimum effort, maximum reward.
Not available in every state. New customer savings based on early signing discount. DriveWise is an optional feature. Savings vary based on how you buy. Subject to terms and conditions. Allstate Fire and Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
You knew the risks when you decided to drive drunk. There could be a crash. People could get hurt or killed. But that didn't stop you, did it? You knew you could get arrested. You could incur huge legal expenses, and you could possibly even lose your job. You were well aware of the consequences of driving drunk. But one thing's for sure. You were wrong when you said it was no big deal. Drive sober or get pulled over. This message brought to you by NHTSA.
Early break with Sip and Jake.
This is what Rob Aller says. Ryan Day is clearly comfortable enough in his own unshaven skin not to care what others think. Whether that means saying goodbye to facial grooming or going for it on 4th and 3, when the prudent play might be to kick a field goal.
Do you hear yourself talking right now?
This
is ridiculous.
I read it on Sunday and did not think it was ridiculous.
Are you crazy?
I did not think it was
ridiculous. So dumb.
I didn't think it was ridiculous.
Early break with Sip and Jake from 6 to 8 every weekday morning on 93.7 The Ticket. 93.7 The Ticket. Fox KFXL weather. Sponsored by John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning.
We'll see decreasing cloud cover, but a much cooler day on the way for our Wednesday, topping out at 48 with northwest winds gusting to around 25. Mainly clear tonight, a low down to around 26. It will be partly to mostly sunny tomorrow and cool with a high of around 45. I'm meteorologist Tim Wright for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Hi, Sean Callahan here of HuskerOnline.com, inviting you to join us here on 93.7 The Ticket. Every Saturday morning now in our new time, we're on from 8 to 9 with the weekly Husker Online radio show. We'll give you the latest in recruiting. We'll talk about what's going on with both football, basketball, and we'll probably share a few stories from the inside. It's every Saturday morning right here on 93.7 The Ticket. It's the Husker Online radio show from 8 to 9 a.m.
If you're thinking about a new career, improving your job skills, or just continuing your love of lifelong learning, Southeast Community College's Spring Continuing Education Catalog is hitting your mailbox soon. It's chock full of options. Learn how to write a compelling grant application, become a pharmacy tech, or even learn to ride a motorcycle. We even provide the bike. Check out your catalog or go to southeast.edu/continuing education. SCC, your path to possible.
Join DP and Jay Foreman on Wednesday at Tanner's Bar and Grill at 30th and Yankee Hill. DP goes one-on-one with Husker Online Sean Callahan and joins Jay from 4 to 6 to preview the Wisconsin game and more. It's this Wednesday at Tanner's, 30th and Yankee Hill.
Hey, sports fans. Rico here with HIS Auto Care 70th and Van Dorn. Carfax recently awarded us as a top-rated auto service center for 2020, and Lincoln Choice Awards voted us as the 2021 top independent auto repair center. Call us at 402-488-8934 for superior service bumper to bumper. Mention this ad and get 7% off. Doesn't get any better than that. Rico for his Auto Care, 70th and Van Dorn. God bless you.
Lincoln's mega liquidation store is here. Wholesale Logistics is now open on West O Street as a bin store with tons of liquidation pallets, appliances, mattresses, furniture, and more. Brand new mattresses 30 to 60% off retail with well-known brands. New furniture also 30 to 60% off retail value. Brand new LG scratch and dent appliances 35 to 40% off retail. Wholesale Logistics purchases truckloads of smaller items from major retailers and throws them into bins, with everything starting at just $8. Get to Wholesale Logistics, open each Friday to Tuesday from 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. at 2811 West O Street.
Back to Tom and Bock on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome back. It is Tom and Bock. Coming up a little bit later on, some wingman for you. Box Tops, what's the topic today?
Well, there is actually a game this week against Wisconsin, so I'm going to do my normal game week thing, have the top 10 alumni from Wisconsin.
Oh, nice. I like that. Rico, if you could call Chris Bassett of the Lincoln Journal-Star. That was my bad. I should have had you call him. So just to continue our discussion on Nebraska basketball, and we'll have Chris here to talk more about it. Nebraska gets close. Did you feel like Nebraska at that point was going to win last night when they had closed it to 4 going to halftime?
They had the momentum. Basketball is a game of ebb and flow and different type of momentum there. So not necessarily. I felt better, certainly much better than when they were down 19, and it looked like Creighton was going to run away with it.
When I learned that Trey McGowan wasn't going to play in the second half, I was really concerned. He's your best defender, and they struggle to get rebounds anyway, and he averages 6 a game. He gets a lot of loose balls. He and Alonzo actually get lots of rebounds that roll around loose. And part of that is his willingness to dive on the floor and do that. But when he left, he left with his energy. He has the most energy of anybody, I think, on that team. It helped that Kobe Webster provided a lot of energy with the 3-point shooting. But Nebraska now has lost 3 games. Let's welcome in 2 games, I should say, in 3. Chris Bassett of the Lincoln Journal-Star. Hi, Chris. How are you?
I'm good, Tom. How are you?
I feel terrible. I'll tell you.
You sound terrible.
Thank you. So, right on par, actually.
Yeah.
So we're 3 games into this thing. What have you learned that you didn't know at the start of the season about Nebraska basketball?
Well, the point guard issue is probably bigger than we thought it was. I think that's the biggest thing, and I'm not exactly breaking any news with that. They've got a problem there, and now one of the guys you thought was going to play point guard and Trey McGowan is out for who knows how long with a broken foot. So it hasn't worked with Alonzo Verge so far. That's not to say it won't as the year goes on, but they got to figure something out there. And if they don't, it's going to be another long year. So I think that's the biggest thing right now is they've got a real point guard issue, and it's really holding them back right now.
I guess the question is for a lot of people is around that point guard issue. Is Nebraska's goal to kind of look like that Creighton offense, is to move the ball around like that? Or what? I mean, it's hard to look at an identity for Nebraska's offense right now.
Yeah, I mean, it's based in ball movement. It's based in transition and ball movement. And it's what they want it to look like is how it looked against Colorado when so many of us thought Alonzo Verge was going to be the answer there. Nebraska was able to play with pace. They got the ball to open shooters, and those shooters knocked down shots. And Fred Hoiberg has said over and over, the shooting will be the strength of this team. And so far, I think they've shot over 40% in one game, and it was just a tick over 40%. And part of that's ball movement, part of that's transition, part of that's a stagnant offense, and part of it is probably, too, the game's starting to count for real and teams defending them a little different. So, yeah, ideally, you'd want to look like it did against Colorado, when even though you got out-rebounded, you were so good offensively that it didn't matter. The goal for this team is to be so good offensively that masks maybe some of the issues in rebounding, maybe some of the issues in defense, and whatever else you want to look at. So, yeah, they certainly don't want it to look like it looked last night, but and they've got to find an answer to get it going.
Chris Bassett of the Lincoln Journal-Star, our guest. Their top leader, obviously Trey McGowan's one of their better rebounders, certainly their best on-ball defender. As Hoiberg mentioned, you can't replace that. But how do they make up for that at least a little bit?
Boy, I don't know. I think it's got to be by committee. You know, when the head coach uses the words heart and soul of our team, talking about a guy that got hurt, that tells you how big of a loss it is. And Trey was maybe never going to put up huge numbers when it comes to points or assists or things like that, but he did so much for that team that doesn't show up in the stat sheet. And you don't replace that with one guy. You have to figure out a way to do it by committee, whether that's Kobe Webster taking over part of it, whether that's asking Alonzo Birch maybe do some different things, whether that's asking CJ Wilcher to do a couple different things. That's going to be what it has to be. And, you know, they've got to figure it out quick too with this stretch they have coming up with 3 games in, I believe, 6 days. So it stinks for Trey and you feel terrible for him. At the same time, Nebraska's got reality staring them right in the face here, and they've got to figure it out if they want this season to amount to anything.
Well, like you said, 3 games in 6 days. That's going to be rough for them. But the opponents, at least the names coming in, don't scare you all that much. I don't know if you've been able to do some scouting. Is there a formidable opponent amongst the group, or will any of these losses look pretty rough?
Well, look, this team lost to Western Illinois and was down to Sam Houston State 10 points in the second half. So I don't think you discount anybody at this point if you're Nebraska or if you're a Nebraska fan or if you follow the team, because who knows what it's going to look like in that first game Friday against Idaho State. You know, who knows if Nebraska's going to be flat? Who knows what the offense is going to look like? Who knows what the effort's going to look like? We don't know. And it's, you know, trust is earned, right? And I don't think this team has earned any trust yet, and rightfully so. They haven't shown up. They certainly didn't show up for the first 10 minutes of the biggest game of the year last night. They didn't show up in the season opener against Western Illinois. So, you know, I personally, I don't trust this team right now. I need to see it. So you can look at the names on the jerseys of the opponents and say, well, those are the games Nebraska should win, but you should have said the same thing about Western Illinois too, and Sam Houston State too. They should have an easier time. So, again, trust is earned. Nebraska's got to figure something out, and if they're able to go out and take care of business in these 3 games, maybe that starts to make us feel a little better about where they're going.
I mean, there's no way that Hoiberg changes his philosophy. I mean, his identity is, 5 out in many cases, spread the floor, shoot the basketball. They won't veer from that, right? I mean, that's who they are.
No, and that's what they've recruited to. You know, that's how this roster is built. Now, roster construction is a whole different story. You know, the first 2 years of Fred Hoiberg's tenure here, he had a point guard and no shooters, and now he's got a bunch of shooters and no point guard. So we could talk about that all day long too if we wanted to. So no, the identity is not going to change. This team was recruited to do what Fred Hoiberg wants to do, and that, like you said, that's spread the floor, 4 out, 5 out, put a bunch of shooters out there and make teams defend you out to the 3-point line and beyond the 3-point line, and really stress teams with your offense. So yeah, you can't change. And again, we're 3 games into the season. You can't change philosophies right now, 3 games into the season. And certainly if they're able to get the point guard issue figured out, then a lot of that stuff's going to look a lot better, I think. So yeah, at this point, you don't change philosophies. You don't try and slow it down. You don't try and play, maybe more quote unquote traditional type basketball yet, because this is who Fred Hoiberg is, and this is who they've built this team to be. So you've got to continue to work on the issues you have, see if you can figure out a way to get them solved, and go from there.
Nebraska getting to the free throw line their first 2 games more than 30 times in each of those games, only 9 times against Creighton. What was the difference there?
I think Creighton was just really good at the rim. I thought Ryan Kalkbrenner played a great game for them last night. Their 7'2" center. He made it really hard. He did a good job walling up at the rim, at forcing Nebraska to take tough shots. You know, it's a little tougher to drive by guys that are playing for a Big East team than it is to by guys playing for a WAC team or a Summit League team. That's a different part of it too, the step up in competition. So there's a lot of different things that go into that. And again, a lot of it too is ball movement. If you're not moving the ball, then you're not causing guys to close out hard and setting up an opportunity to dribble by them and maybe draw some contact and draw a shooting foul. So it's not one thing necessarily with that, but I think it's a combination of things that led to what we saw there last night.
Chris Bassett of the Lincoln Journal-Star, our guest. When you talk about Wisconsin, it feels like it's been two different teams, almost two different seasons for Wisconsin. They lose the Penn State game by 6. They look terrible in a loss to Notre Dame. They lose to Michigan 38-17. But since then, they've reeled off 6 in a row. What's been the day? I know it's been an easier schedule, but to you, why has there been a dramatic shift with Wisconsin football right now?
It's a couple of different reasons, both of them on the offensive side of the ball. That defense, for the most part, has been pretty good. Even in those losses, their offense was just so poor that it put the defense in some impossible positions. But that offensive line has started to protect Graham Mertz, the quarterback, a lot better, which in turn has made Mertz a lot more efficient in the passing game. They've found another star at running back. It looks like in Braylon Allen, the 17-year-old who looks like he's going to be a stud, and they've got that position settled down after some real turmoil there early in the year, and I think they've just gotten back to playing Wisconsin football. It's sometimes as simple as that. We just talked about identity with Nebraska's basketball team. I think Wisconsin kind of got back to its identity as a football team, and that's be physical, maul the guys up front in front of you, and let that big running back wear other teams down and get them to the point where they don't want to tackle him. So, yeah, it starts with Wisconsin offensively. That offensive line has been better, which has led to better quarterback play, which has led to better running back play. And I think that's a big reason for their turnaround.
And of course, the defense has just been nails all year. Maybe outside of maybe the fourth quarter against Notre Dame, but other than that, I mean, they've been really good. How do you expect Nebraska to attack that defense this week, given a lot of the the shakeup on the coaching staff?
Yeah, that's going to be an interesting matchup, I think. Nebraska's offense, I think, presents a little bit different challenge for Wisconsin with a maybe a mobile quarterback in Adrian Martinez. We'll see how much he wants to run in this game. I think that presents an issue. I think the triple option threat presents an issue depending on how much Nebraska wants to try and run that. And we know Nebraska's been able to hit some deep shots in the passing game. Can Wisconsin's defensive line linebackers get to Adrian Martinez quick enough to get Nebraska away from those deep shots to take the top off of defenses? So it's an interesting matchup. Scott Frost's offense have really done fairly well against Wisconsin the previous few years they've played. They've been able, it's kind of like everybody else, they've been able to put up quite a few yards against the Badgers. They just haven't been able to score enough points. So I don't hate that matchup for Nebraska. Wisconsin's defense is obviously as elite as it gets, maybe outside of Georgia. But I think Nebraska's going to be able to move the ball a little bit. It, as always, will come down to can they finish off those drives when they get the chance.
Hey, Chris, we're all trying to gather clues on the new staff. We know 4 new coaches are coming, including an offensive coordinator. The last whole staff basically were people that Scott Frost knew. How much do you expect him to go outside of his circle?
I think he will go outside of his circle some. I don't know how big Scott Frost's coaching network is. Like you said, he's got to find somebody he trusts, which makes you think it'll be somebody he probably already knows. If you're just trying to put pieces together like that. So yeah, we'll see. I think he has to go outside of his circle a little bit. If you want fresh ideas, if you want different ideas, then you can't keep going to guys that and you have to step outside of your comfort zone a little bit. So yeah, we'll obviously figure that out soon enough, and we'll know the names soon enough. But yeah, I would be very surprised if Scott Frost didn't step outside his circle a little bit to make a couple of these hires.
Great stuff, Chris. We'll talk to you next week. I'll try to have a voice by then. Maybe I will
get some cough drops and drink some warm tea.
Thank you, thank you, Dr. Bassett. Appreciate it. Chris Bassett of the Lincoln Journal-Star. Great stuff as always. Let's get to break and come back with the blog jog next.
You're listening to Tom and Bock. Watch live on Facebook, YouTube, or Twitch.
Hey, it's Sean Callahan, and football season is here, and Tanner's Bar and Grill at 30th and Yankee Hill has food and drink specials every night for all the games. Enjoy jumbo pork tenderloin for $8.99 and 90-cent wings for Monday Night Football, or come for Thursday Night Football with chicken fried chicken, steak, or pork for just $9.99 and $20 Coors Light aluminum buckets. Watch college football on Saturdays with an Aggie sandwich for $9.99 and Coors Light specials, and catch NFL Sundays with Bloody Marys and more. That's Tanner's Bar and Grill at 30th and Yankee Hill.
Hi, I'm Charlie Stone, and in just a few moments, Andy Goodyear, General Manager of Honda of Lincoln, will be joining us with the latest update. But before I bring Andy on, I'd like to tell our listeners about how proud I am to work with Honda of Lincoln. I like the way they provide listeners honest, up-to-date information that helps people make informed decisions about buying or leasing. Hey, Andy, are you with us?
Yes, I am, Charlie, and thank you for your comment.
Andy, what's happening at Honda of Lincoln?
We still have truckloads of new Hondas arriving daily, and there's still more than 500 new Hondas to choose from, either in stock or on the way. Plus, we have 0% APR financing available.
How about used, Andy?
One of our best selections of all makes and models, and we have a great selection of certified pre-owned Hondas that have special APR starting at 0.99%.
That's great, Andy. Come experience the Honda of Lincoln way of doing business. 27th and Yankee Hill Road, or online at hondaoflincoln.com.
Have you been to Barn Wood and Leather, that new furniture store in Lincoln? It's a whole new look. If you like country, you'll love Barn Wood and Leather. It's country with a kick. Rustic, yet contemporary. Handcrafted in America from historic reclaimed barnwood and the finest leather. Create your own one-of-a-kind look for a room or your whole home. Come see for yourself at Barn Wood and Leather, South 14th and Dahlberg. Open Monday through Saturday, 10 to 5.
Happer and Schaefer.
What do you view as the easiest of the two? Frost stepping back and giving more power to the people that he's going to hire? Or is it Frost completely changing who he is? I don't see that as likely. I think if Frost's fingerprints stay on this, as they have been, you're going to get the same freaking results. So what you've done here is you've fired your whole offensive staff, and you've presented yourself with an opportunity to change.
Weekday mornings from 8 to 11 on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Hey, sports fans. Rico here with HIS Auto Care 70th and Van Dorn. Carfax recently awarded us as a top-rated auto service center for 2020, and Lincoln Choice Awards voted us as the 2021 top independent auto repair center. Call us at 402-488-8934 for superior service bumper to bumper. Mention this ad and get 7% off. Doesn't get any better than that. Rico for his Auto Care, 70th and Van Dorn. God bless you.
A new Planet Fitness location is coming soon. To celebrate, you can join before we open for just $1 down, $10 a month. We're squeaky clean and ready to welcome you with tons of equipment and plenty of space to spread out. So join the judgment-free zone today. We're ready when you are. Just $1 down, $10 a month. Offer ends soon. Join us today.
Planet Fitness Lincoln opening a third location soon, just east of 84th and Layton. Join now.
Planet Fitness locations are independently owned and operated. See club for details.
Tailgating wasn't just meant for weekends. Join 93.7 The Ticket every Tuesday at Chick-fil-A for Tailgate Tuesdays. Scan your app with any purchase on Tuesdays and you'll be entered to win a tailgate meal for 15 people. That's chicken nuggets, fresh fruit, and iced tea or lemonade. Winners will be contacted each Wednesday, and you can come see Tom and Bock from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. at the 48th and O location or at South Point each week. It's Tailgate Tuesdays all season long at Chick-fil-A in Lincoln.
I'm Steve Carper, and I'm here to tell you that there's never been a better time to buy flooring. Whether you need carpet, wood flooring, ceramic tile, vinyl, area rugs, or custom blinds, you got to come to O Street Carpet. With our 12-month interest-free financing, you can do one room or your whole house and leave your holiday budget intact. And with our huge in-stock selection, you can buy today and we'll install it right away. 1732 O Street. We want to make you a customer for life.
Grab yourself a hot dog or a glass of eggnog and settle in. This is The Blog Job on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
It's our favorite time of day. We get an animal story. We get to talk to Rico. It's the blog jog. Here he is. How are you?
Hello.
How are things?
Things are good for me. How are things for you?
I'm a little, I don't know.
Seems like you got a little upset yesterday.
This started actually during Tailgate Tuesday, didn't it, Bock?
Yeah,
like toward the end of our show, it just my voice decided to leave me. I don't know. And then it got worse because I was yelling at the court.
Yeah.
Finally,
it comes
We
out.
can blame the Huskers for your lack
I
of a
did
voice.
yell for timeouts. I demanded timeouts.
Did Fred take any timeouts when you demanded them?
No,
I don't think he was
he took
listening to
one of them. But he took it 6 points after. I mean, Creighton scored 6 more points after I had called for the timeout. If he would have called the timeout when I had called for the timeout, Nebraska would have been down 6 fewer points and gone up to out of the locker room up 5.
Probably would have won the game.
Probably would have won the game.
Maybe.
How many? But you would also be, if you listen to
You
Tom,
would
you'd
have
also
been out
be
of
out of
timeouts
timeouts within
before the under 7.
Yeah, you just take the timeouts when I demand them, and then when you run out of them, you're just out of them. You're out of
Yeah.
luck. But you always take them when I demand them.
That sounds about right.
Yeah.
I'm starting a movement, by the way.
What's that?
What's that?
Free Oleg.
I saw that. I saw that as a great tweet.
I was making my case in the hallway. Happer and Jake vehemently deny, or they're not on board. I just thought, you have a 7-footer. Yeah, maybe he's 100 pounds, but he's 7 feet tall.
That's I mean, seriously, if he's 180, I'm surprised.
But they have him listed at 225, so it's 7 feet. There's a lot of distribution of weight to go around. Still probably very skinny.
Creighton's 7-footer was really good last year.
He's 7 feet tall. He just has to reach up, and he's higher than most people.
Right.
You're struggling to get boards. Why not just put him in there I mean, it's not like you're using your centers anyways.
Free
on
Oleg.
the offensive end.
Free Oleg.
So, and also, can Nebraska work on setting screens? Because look, I am not a coach. I am not a professional screen setter or basketball player, and I've never played basketball at any high level. But the screens seem a little soft.
Yeah, well, the team seems a little soft.
I'm not going to call the team soft, but the screen seems soft.
Well, the team has played with less than an edge. I will say that. I mean, they haven't played with an edge yet.
Although Kobe, sniper.
Yeah, big game for Kobe.
Yeah, Kobe was great. That was great to see. 8 of 11.
And
I
he
was
can
happy
do
for
that
him.
from time to time. It's not going to be every game, but that's a weapon that I think that they might want to keep off the bench.
He was red hot toward the end of last year.
Spark plug.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Question.
It was great to see him.
What happened to Casey?
But you're seeing him in part because you lost Trey. I mean, that's
Yeah.
what really hurts.
Where did Casey go?
I don't know.
He's
He'll be
out
back.
there.
He'll be back. He'll be
I know
back.
he doesn't even get many shot attempts.
Yeah, he doesn't really
Can he-
do a whole lot.
Can he play point guard?
I don't think so.
I don't
Maybe.
think so.
He was point guard on our 3-on-3 team.
Yeah?
3v3 team. So
Maybe he can play point guard. It is blog jog time. This is Rico. He's been talking. He's right here.
Hello, gentlemen. We have some stuff. We have some things. This one comes from Fox 2 Detroit. A Michigan woman pleads guilty after trying to have her ex-husband killed through a fake rent-a-hitman website.
Did she know it was fake?
She did not. I would believe that if you went to a website that was like, you can rent a hitman, you would think that it's fake because that seems way too easy.
Yeah, if you're gonna hire a hitman, you gotta get you gotta get in there. You gotta get kind of dirty. You can't just go Google it.
Yeah, she entered her real. She didn't enter like a pseudonym or anything to try to stay fake. Or she entered her real information to rent the hitman.
What's the proper way to hire a hitman?
You gotta meet him.
I mean, where do you find them?
Tom, I wouldn't know. I've never tried.
You seem to know a lot about crime, Rico.
No, I know a lot. I have a lot of crime stories. I don't know about it.
Yeah, that's what I mean. You've read so much about it.
A lot of
you'd
dumb
figure out
criminals.
Well, we always say rub elbows with the right people. This is rub elbows with the wrong people.
That's right.
Take some dangerous risks.
Yeah.
Get to know some people, and you might find somebody that'll do it.
The domain name was created as a cybersecurity test site. The website's owner contacted the Michigan State Police, who contacted her, posing as someone from the website, met up with her. She said she was willing to pay $5,000 for the murder. And at a second meeting that same day, she gave the detective $200 as a down payment.
$200? I mean, I demand a bigger down payment.
Yeah, that's not much for.
So then they're like, okay.
Did he get to keep the $200?
I don't think
Even
so.
if he doesn't kill him.
It's part of the it's part of the investigation.
It's evidence.
Although I, as the detective, would make a case saying I was so believable, she gave me $200. I
Right.
think I should keep that. We already got her on the charges. We don't need this $200.
You do wonder how much a hitman would charge you, right? I mean, $5,000. That's not too bad of a deal for
Well,
him.
AC,
Is it? I don't think so. I think it's a pretty good deal, wouldn't it be?
AC/DC used to do dirty deeds and they were done dirt cheap. I do know that.
It's true. But is murder a dirty deed?
I think so.
Or is that the dirtiest of the deeds?
That might be the dirtiest of all the deeds. But there are other options for probably less money that you can act on.
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, it depends. If you pay more, you're going to get a better job done. It's not going to come back to you. If you pay $5,000,
you get what you pay for. It's like a
That's
tattoo.
right.
Somebody thinks I sound like Shaggy from Scooby-Doo.
Oh, nice. Give us a Shaggy line.
Ruh-roh, Raggy.
That's
Scooby.
not.
That's Scooby.
Yeah.
That's
Oh,
the only
yeah.
one I know.
You gotta say zoinks.
Zoinks.
Isn't that,
Maybe. That's
Maybe.
close.
He says that? Yeah.
Yeah, he does say
It's
that.
close.
All right. It's the voice I've got today. I don't have many options.
It's the voice he was given.
No, it wasn't the voice I was given. It's the voice I have today.
It's the voice you were given for a day.
Yeah. That's right. Anything else?
How much time do we have?
We got a couple. We got a minute and a half.
Oh, okay.
One story.
This one comes from outsider.com. A small town spends $150,000 to clean up beaches, ends up dumping all of the trash into the ocean.
Well, that's not funny.
That's kind of funny.
It was a small town in Denmark, and they were giving away $150,000 for the month to clean up the beach. They took a little bulldozer, picked up all the trash, went farther out into the ocean, and dumped it.
Yeah, that
Brilliant.
doesn't seem to be helping too much.
Yeah.
I guess it does clean up the town a little bit.
It does.
Seems backwards.
Maybe the fish like it. Stuff to play with. I don't. But
I don't
doubt,
think
I
so.
doubt
I
it.
don't think they like it.
I don't think they really like it.
Well, I don't know if we're talking about this today, but it kind of reminds me of the balloon release. Have you seen more talk about the
that's a
balloon
thing.
release? Yeah.
They're like, student body government has moved to cancel the balloon release. No more
Yep.
balloons at Memorial Stadium.
Because like fish eat them, right? And they blow up. Or birds eat
Pollution.
birds. Eat 'em.
Birds. I mean,
Birds.
it's just littering.
It's a pollution
It's like
thing.
this is going to be a litter somewhere, and you toss it
Right.
up in the air.
I remember we did that in like third grade, and we would attach a letter to it, and then somebody in Tennessee would write you back.
Well, yeah, but now you have
The balloons are biodegradable,
internet.
though.
That's right. Oh, they
At
are.
least that's what
Yep.
they say.
That is what they say.
I don't know. I don't work with the balloons.
So why can't we do the balloon release?
Well, we're like the only university and the only Big Ten school and all that to still do it because environmental reasons.
Right.
Like
So
Clemson has
But
like
if
a
they're
balloon arch.
biodegradable, you can get biodegradable balloons.
I don't know.
I think there's an argument about how biodegradable.
Yeah, they
are.
say they are, but I don't know.
That doesn't
how.
mean they just disappear on the spot. If they land on a turtle's neck,
takes a little bit.
they don't just disappear.
That's probably true.
We should have paper balloons.
I can't imagine
There you
not releasing a balloon. And we've done that for years.
Oh, I know, but
Well, I mean, for
tradition might be
multiple-
coming to an end.
For multiple
that's-
games, you haven't
that's
done
very,
it
very
until the
sad.
end. So
I did not know that.
Okay.
That's the blog jog. It's Rico. And Bock will be back with me with Box Tops. What's the category again?
Top 10 Wisconsin alumni this week.
Oh, yeah. I love that.
none.
Not one.
They don't have anybody. They just have cheese. It's coming up. Box Tops on the way.
Download our app by searching 93.7 The Ticket in your app store to stay in touch and listen all day long wherever you are. This is Tom and Bock.
Have you been to Barn Wood and Leather, that new furniture store in Lincoln? It's a whole new look. If you like country, you'll love Barn Wood and Leather. It's country with a kick. Rustic, yet contemporary. Handcrafted in America from historic reclaimed barnwood and the finest leather. Create your own one-of-a-kind look for a room or your whole home. Come see for yourself at Barn Wood and Leather, South 14th and Dahlberg. Open Monday through Saturday, 10 to 5.
The worst of times can bring out the best in each of us. Doctors, nurses, and frontline workers have labored selflessly to keep us safe during the health crisis of our lifetime. How do we thank these heroes? It's simple. Get your COVID vaccine so we can end this pandemic. Variants are on the rise, and we don't want to put these heroes through another health crisis. They have given their all. Now it's up to you. Please do your part. For you, for them, for us.
This message sponsored by the Helmsley Charitable Trust, aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
Hi, I'm Charlie Stone, and in just a few moments, Andy Goodyear, General Manager of Honda of Lincoln, will be joining us with the latest update. But before I bring Andy on, I'd like to tell our listeners about how proud I am to work with Honda of Lincoln. I like the way they provide listeners honest, up-to-date information that helps people make informed decisions about buying or leasing. Hey, Andy, are you with us?
Yes, I am, Charlie, and thank you for your comment.
Andy, what's happening at Honda of Lincoln?
We still have truckloads of new Hondas arriving daily, and there's still more than 500 new Hondas to choose from, either in stock or on the way. Plus, we have 0% APR financing available.
How about used, Andy?
One of our best selections of all makes and models, and we have a great selection of certified pre-owned Hondas that have special APR starting at 0.99%.
That's great, Andy. Come experience the Honda of Lincoln way of doing business. 27th and Yankee Hill Road or online at hondaoflincoln.com.
Guys, we need to talk about a problem plaguing our society today: chronic fruitcake slander. Now, maybe you're thinking, I've had fruitcake. It's dry and heavy. Well, I'm here to tell you that you're eating the wrong fruitcake, because Grandma's Fruitcake is anything but. Their recipe uses the highest quality fruits, hand-sorted nuts, and adds the perfect amount of brandy, bourbon, and rum. Their desserts are known and loved across the country, and they're made right here in Southeast Nebraska. If you haven't tried them yet, you're missing out. Grandma's Fruitcake from Beatrice Bakery. Welcome to our world of yum.
This is your High School Minute.
With your Southeast Community College High School Minute, I'm Harrison Arns. On Friday, football semifinals took place across the state. In Class A, Gretna shut out Omaha North 34-0, and Omaha Westside won over Bellevue West 41-26. In Class B, Bennington beat Elkhorn 28-1, and Aurora won over Omaha Skutt 21-17. In Class C1, Pierce shut out Battle Creek 21-0, and Columbus Lakeview beat Kearney Catholic by 10, 31-21. In Class C2, Norfolk Catholic outpowered Wilbur Clatonia 35-12, and Ord was shut out by Archbishop Bergen 20-0. In D1, Howells Dodge won over Burwell 56-18, and Cross County beat Hitchcock County 56-20. In cross country news, Class A state champion Gabe Hendricks won the Nike Cross Nationals Heartland Regional in Sioux Falls. He was invited to the national meet, but it was canceled soon after. This has been your High School Minute, sponsored by Southeast Community College, with locations in Lincoln, Beatrice, and Milford. Learn more today at southeast.edu.
Another packed fall sports season means it's time to get to N Street Drive-In to fill up on all your beverage needs. November's beers of the month are from Nebraska Brewing Company, Oscar Blues Dale's Pale Ale, and Avery Brew. Also, make sure to download the new N Street Drive-In app to order online and to set up delivery right to your front door. And don't forget their top-notch Crowler fill system. N Street Drive-In, your one-stop beverage stop at 1801 O Street.
I'm Dan Friedman. When you entrust the care of an aging or sick loved one to a nursing home, it can be a gut-wrenching decision. Unfortunately, sometimes these facilities are poorly managed or make bad decisions, and our vulnerable loved ones suffer the consequences. If you believe your loved one suffered at the hands of a poorly run nursing home, it doesn't cost you a thing to get the opinion of a skilled trial lawyer. At Friedman Law, we've been protecting the rights of injured Nebraskans for over half a century. It's what we do. It's all we do. Find us at friedmanlaw.com today.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Brought to you by Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing.
We'll see decreasing cloud cover, but a much cooler day on the way for our Wednesday. Topping out at 48 with northwest winds gusting to around 25. Mainly clear tonight, a low down to around 26. It will be partly to mostly sunny tomorrow and cool with a high of around 45. I'm meteorologist Tim Wright for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
A new Planet Fitness location is coming soon. To celebrate, you can join before we open for just $1 down, $10 a month. We're squeaky clean and ready to welcome you with tons of equipment and plenty of space to spread out. So join the judgment-free zone today. We're ready when you are. Just $1 down, $10 a month. Offer ends soon. Join us today.
Planet Fitness Lincoln opening a third location soon, just east of 84th and Layton. Join now.
Planet Fitness locations are independently owned and operated. See club for details.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com.
On the internet.
KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket. This is Tom and Bock, coming at you live from Coppel Chevrolet GMC Studios in the heart of Lincoln, America, on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Here are your hosts, Tom Stevens.
Hey, what day is it?
To my knowledge, Wednesday.
Well, we're happier than a camel on Wednesday, baby.
Jake Bockoven.
Coach told me when we're in Rome, we do as Romans. And when we're in Italy, we do as Italians. So Italians, they eat pizza after the game.
Tom and Bock starts now.
Welcome in hour number 2 over the noon hour. I'm going to take it home. Don't you worry about me, Bock. I can handle it. I can do it. Trust me. Put me in, Coach. By the way, go to theticketfm.com today and nominate somebody for Beatrice Bakery. We give away cakes every Wednesday on this show. We would love you to nominate somebody you love, just somebody who needs a smile. Grandma's fruitcake since 1964. It is the home. Beatrice Bakery. Full menu artesian cakes. They've got liqueur cakes. They've got breakfast breads and coffee cakes as well. I love the lemon drop cake. I've had the chocolate rum. Fantastic. It's all really good. And the fruitcake is good. And I don't like fruitcake, but I like their fruitcake. It's really, really good. Perfect for holiday gatherings, birthdays, or any of life's everyday occasions. Beatrice Bakery. Go to beatricebakery.com, but go to our website, theticketfm.com, and nominate somebody, and then we'll announce the winner and call you and let you know you won a little bit later on. This hour, we're going to do box tops, but just wanted to read something here off the text line, Bock, regarding what happened with the basketball game last night. 464-5685. Tired of Nebraska not showing up for the beginnings of games, whether it's football or basketball. They act like they're just going to walk out there and the other team is going to fear them. I don't give a damn what team you're talking about on the other side, whether it's Creighton or Ohio State, Illinois, Idaho. Nobody fears Nebraska anymore. Nobody fears Nebraska basketball. Well, that's definitely the case. But it's always been the case.
Yeah, and I can understand the frustration because some of the teams do get off to slow starts, here and there, and they admit it. But I don't know if that's an arrogance or a cockiness, or I sometimes it's a lot of different factors that play into it. I don't think that Nebraska, for a lot of those players, that was the biggest crowd they've played in front of here at Nebraska.
Yeah, that
because
is true.
So it's probably an adjustment for them, and again, hopefully it will get better. But I mean, that's the ebb and flows of sports. Is sometimes you just don't get going early, and it's a problem. Don't get me wrong; these are he's frustrated by the mounting losses that happen across the sports, and yeah, it'd be nice to very rarely do you see the team come out and just jump on it and just look ready to go. That's what kind of made that Northwestern win so fun. It was like over after a half a quarter. You're just going, they're just dominating, and they're ready to go from the snap.
Yeah. If you're thinking, I'd love to have a mulligan on that Creighton game, you'll get it tonight. The Nebraska women's basketball team plays Creighton at PBA. Huskers are 3-0 and averaging 99 points a game. That's fifth nationally. The Jays are 1-1, but they've beaten Nebraska 5 straight years. This should be Nebraska's night, right? This feels like possibly an upper half Big Ten team this year. And it's a big year because Amy has made the postseason one time, and this is year 5. I think this has got to be a big breakthrough year, and it looks like it might be. It looks like this team has some depth. I mean, you're not even talking a lot about Sam Hybe right now, but she's capable, as we know. We saw at the Big Ten tournament, of going off at any point. It feels like this team is deep. I'm hoping they are. We'll find out a lot more tonight.
Yeah, this would probably be their first big test, but I mean, it's hard to imagine that they're 5th in scoring. Those other teams must put up some points too, because it's been an incredible start for Nebraska women's basketball, and at a time I think that like you said, they kind of need it. Amy Williams, this is what, 5th, 6th year in.
Fifth year, I think.
Yeah, so it's time to get it rolling, and it looks like they've got it rolling, and now you really see with their first big test tonight, if this team's picking on the the teams that can't compete, or if they're for real.
Nebraska found out that both JoJo Doman and JoJo is in, and Cam Taylor-Britt is in. They're both going to play in the Senior Bowl. It's in Mobile, Alabama. It's mostly picked by NFL executives who have a big influence on the players in this game. So if you're invited to this game, it's a good deal because you'll be watched by a lot of executives. Right now, there is word that both Cam Taylor-Britt more so probably than JoJo even, are second-day guys. We're talking third, fourth second, third round, somewhere in there,
Yeah.
maybe fourth round. Do you see that in both those guys?
I see that as a possibility. I retweeted something that Todd McShay did, which was kind of looking at a JoJo Doman play, the interception he had on the sideline against Ohio State. He said that was one of the most impressive plays that he's been diagnosing all season, and that JoJo could be a second-day guy. And I do see that. I mean, those guys are talented, and they helped kind of revitalize this defense. And that's part of the question about next year's team is they're going to lose a few guys, and are they going to be able to replace them? And those are the two. Those are the guys at the top of the board that you're talking about. Probably your two most talented players, not just on defense, but on the team overall.
Yeah. Samori Toure is also going to play in the Shrine Bowl. That's in Las Vegas on February 3rd in Las Vegas. You feel like he's an NFL guy? You think he is?
Samari?
Yeah.
I think he's got a shot. Again, there's it's hard to do this with Nebraska wide receivers because that's basically all I can say is I think that they've got a shot because if you have one guy at Nebraska that gets like Stanley Morgan when he got 1,000 yards, we're all going, well, then he's definitely got to going to be in the NFL.
He's still in the league.
He is, but I'm just saying like that's not the measurement around the nation. There's a lot of guys with 1,000 yards, 1,200 yards, 1,400 yards that never make the league. So, but I mean, he seems to be putting himself in a position to have an opportunity. And if he has a big last couple games, he could even get to the 1,000-yard mark.
Lila thinks I should get a medicine ball. Is it getting better? Do I sound better? I think I sound fantastic. Right now. Actually,
I can't even tell.
Yesterday, I sounded pretty good. When it's the start of the cold and your voice gets lower, that's pretty cool. You got the FM radio DJ, Buzzy Carruthers type voice. He's got the best voice of all time. I think in a couple of days, I'll sound more like Buzzy. Right now, it's just, Shaggy from Scooby-Doo. So it's we'll just, grin and bear it and try to get through it. But we do have box tops. That'll lift the spirits of everyone. Here it is. You got it?
All right, in honor of Nebraska's opponent this week in Wisconsin, let's look at the top 10 Wisconsin alum. A little chance to jump outside of the sports world, but a couple names still here within the sports world, but I'm kind of jumping all over. It's going to be hard for you to follow.
Right.
I got more than 10 names there. A couple people didn't quite make my list. Andy Katz, college basketball writer, went to ESPN.
Oh, yeah.
You read Andy Katz once?
I like Andy Katz.
Yeah, he's not too bad. Herbert H. Coles, the former United States Senator, but more importantly, one of the founding members of Kohl's. You a big Kohl's cash guy?
I would go to Kohl's occasionally. It's cheap. It's like Gordman. Remember Gordman's back in the day? I see Kohl's as kind of similar.
Yeah.
Good name brand stuff.
Yeah.
And it's cheap.
The problem is I found out as I got older is I'd go there and then it would have like young men's clothing. It would say there, and I said, am I?
I'm not a young man.
Am I still a young man?
I think I'm a young man.
Can I shop here or should I?
I don't know.
Is there like an older guy?
Will I get kicked out of this section? What's going to happen?
You just at a certain point, you don't know if you belong. But I know a lot of people love to collect that Kohl's cash. If you buy something there, you'll get like a certain amount of Kohl's cash.
I've never
you can use the next week.
You have Kohl's cash?
Not me. My mother definitely collected it.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Oh, good.
People are a big fan of Kohl's cash. All right, and let's start my list here. Let's see if there's anybody else in the others not mentioned here. Oh, Anders Holm was a pretty good one. One of the producer and writers and actors for Workaholics, of course, working with Adam Devine, who was born in or raised in Omaha at least.
I like Workaholics. That's a good movie.
Yeah, I never watched it too much, but it.
Oh, I thought isn't there a movie Workaholics or is it a TV show?
This is the TV show.
Okay, TV show.
But he didn't quite.
Maybe I haven't seen it then. I don't know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, you don't really know. You should have just stuck with it. Are you a big Boss Skaggs fan?
I do like Lido Shuffle.
Yeah, that's right. The Lido Shuffle.
The Lido Shuffle.
One of Swartzman's favorites to do karaoke with. Yeah, he actually went to Wisconsin as well. I'm trying to think if there's anybody else that's worth mentioning. Lewis Wolf, the owner of the Oakland Athletics.
Okay.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Yeah, that's impressive.
How about Mary Brunner, the former Manson family member and ex-girlfriend of the cult leader Charles Manson?
You always got to have one weird one on there.
Oh, I've got a few weird stories later on.
Yes, Charlie Starkweather is way up there.
Yeah. All right, let's start with number 10 on my list, and I think I'm pronouncing this right. Jan Kazmarich, who was the wife on. Now I'm blanking on the show. I should have wrote it down. Malcolm in the Middle. There it is.
Yeah.
Malcolm in the Middle wife. She was really good in that role. Did you watch Malcolm in the Middle? Much?
I did like Malcolm in the Middle.
Yeah, she went to Wisconsin. That's a show that I don't know. My sister was watching it the other day. I completely forgot about it. That's a good
I love
chemistry
Bryan
between
Cranston.
the brothers.
Bryan Cranston's one of my favorite actors. Yeah.
And Bryan Cranston's really good. How about number 9 on the list? Kevin Wagner Murphy. He's an American actor and writer, best known as the voice and puppeteer of Tom Servo on the comedy series Mystery Science Theater 3000.
All right.
You ever watch those ones?
No, never watched it. You?
Yeah, it's like little puppet guys making fun of bad horror movies. It's pretty funny.
That sounds like it's right up your alley.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah,
I like to watch those growing up. So yeah, he's in there. How about let's see, number 7 on my list, I believe we're at. Meinhard Raby. He was a Munchkin in the Wizards of Oz. He was one of the last surviving Munchkins, actually, and he actually had some words. Not many of the Munchkins got much dialogue, but he was the coroner who certified the death of the Wicked Witch of the East.
Oh, nice.
He also worked for Oscar Mayer for several years as Oscar, the world's smallest chef. He traveled around in the Wienermobile.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Would you like to travel around in the Wienermobile?
No, I really wouldn't.
You wouldn't.
In fact, this list is not your best list.
Hey, it gets better later.
Okay.
Not many have a Munchkin from the Wizard of Oz. I mean, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
How about number 6 on my list? Steve Miller, musician, Rock and Roll Hall of Famer. Of course, the Steve Miller Band. You a big Steve Miller fan?
They're okay. Yeah. I like them. I saw them live a couple of times.
Yeah, I was going to say, you probably saw them live, but they weren't. Was that the leading act? Is that why you went to those shows?
Because of Steve Miller?
Yeah.
No, because they had a ton of hits and they were great. I did see him later on at the State Fair, the Nebraska State Fair, when he'd gotten a little older, and he didn't sound good that night. They played, but back in the 70s.
How dare you criticize somebody for not sounding good?
I know. That's right. Because I sound like perfection today.
That's right.
But yeah, I like Steve Miller. That's pretty good. Right. That's a good one.
He was classmates with Boss Skaggs there for a bit.
They were classmates.
Wisconsin. Yeah.
Oh wow!
So
it's kind of do each other's songs sometimes.
Yeah, that'd be kind of cool to be in on those classes.
Yeah.
How about number 5 on my list? The poker brat Phil Hellmuth.
I love Phil Hellmuth.
You a big poker fan?
I love Texas Hold'em.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's kind of what he does. That's his specialty. He's known as one of the best card players of all time. I mean, he's a legend. He's a Hall of Famer.
He's a 14-time World Series of Poker bracelet-winning champion. He won the main event in 2019, and he actually went to Wisconsin for 3 years before dropping out and starting to play poker. Since then, he's had accumulated over $24 million.
Wow!
So it's a good idea to drop out of Wisconsin.
He's known as the poker brat.
That's right.
Because he has a bad demeanor at the table. He's kind of a jerk.
I like what he does, though, usually, because if you follow poker, you don't lose that much if you're just not really playing and you're just kind of throwing in the ante. He always shows up late, like pretty
he's
late.
Always late with the shades on.
Yeah, he's too cool to start at the beginning of time. But that's really bold for a guy just to throw away money. A lot of his not a lot of his stack, but a little bit of his stack. He's just starting at a smaller place because his time is more valuable to him.
He's always criticizing the moves you make. Like, I can't believe you called that. And you'll go,
that's right.
Yeah, but it was the right call. He goes, but I can't believe you called that. That was such an idiot move. But I won. He goes, yeah, but this is such an idiot move.
Yeah. He's an entertaining guy. There's I think it was around 2005 when Chris Moneymaker won the World Series of Poker.
I remember that.
Poker blew up for 2 years.
Oh, you're a poker guy.
I was a big poker guy. I started playing poker with my friends in the basement. We didn't have any money, so it was for $1 or whatever we could find.
That gets kind of old when you never win any money. I prefer the money one, the big money one.
Yeah.
I played in 20, $100 cash games you get to get in, and those are kind of fun.
Yeah. My buddy actually went up to Council Bluffs and won an invite to the World Series of Poker main event because he won their regional tournament or whatever it was. He brought a nice purse home as well.
I remember being in Vegas playing poker one time and won a hand that was $400. And this guy got really mad, accused me of being a pro. And I'm going, that was kind of a compliment.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, because I'm really not any good at this.
Yeah. All right, how about number 5 on my list? Stifler. Sean William Scott, better known as Stifler from American Pie. Also played in Role Models, Dude, Where's My Car? Final Destination had a pretty big death scene there. Big fan of Sean William Scott?
I do like him. I love the American Pie movies.
Yeah.
They're great movies. There's like 5 of them, right? Well, I guess.
I stopped watching.
He was probably in 3 of them.
Yeah, they started doing like
when
American
they
Pie's
turned
brother's wedding.
When they turned 75, I stopped watching.
Yeah, but yeah, that was like a whole like era of the late '90s. That's
Gene
what that
Levy,
was
I think, did them all.
college.
I think Gene Levy.
I think he did.
I think Gene
was
Levy
the one
was
guy
in
that
every
stuck
one
through
of
all
them. Yeah,
I think,
but
that's
not
probably
Stifler.
Right. Yeah, not Stifler. They actually moved on to a different Stiflers. They
had different Stiflers,
but it wasn't. They didn't like change. They did just of the Stifler family.
Yeah.
So it wasn't like they.
I probably only
replaced
saw the first 2 or 3.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
But I've heard about it.
Yeah.
How about number 4 on my list? How about Alan Bud Selig? He was a former commissioner of Major League Baseball.
Yeah, I know Bud Selig.
Yeah.
Who doesn't know Bud Selig? He's a legend. That's a pretty good one.
Yeah, that's a pretty good
That's
one.
pretty good.
Not much more to say about
Yeah.
Bud Selig, though.
No, not really.
Just did a good job.
Yeah,
kind of a good job staying out of the headlines usually. Just kind of.
Yeah, I don't
seemed like
remember
it.
a lot of controversy with Bud Selig.
I'm sure if we looked it up, we'd find a little bit.
Yeah.
But in any case, how about number 3 on my list? Dick Cheney, the former vice president of the United States. He started but did not finish a doctoral at Wisconsin. But in any case, he did go there. He was, of course, born in Lincoln and George W. Bush's vice president.
Yeah, and he once shot somebody in a hunting accident.
He did do that as well, didn't
that's
he?
right. That's what he's really famous for.
Yeah. Now to my top 2, and you'll recognize the names, but I got some interesting stories with them too. Frank Lloyd Wright is number 2, of course, a famous 20th century architect. He's actually a birthday buddy of mine. He was born on my birthday, June 8th.
Oh, wow.
123 years before me. So
just in the scope of time, that's really not that long.
Just one of the
Yeah.
few differences between me and Frank Lloyd Wright.
Yeah.
But he was known for having several different romantic partners. Ended up having 3 wives. One of his wives, the second one, who he left his first wife for, they built. He's an architect. They built a magnificent estate. She, along with 2 of her kids and 4 others, were axe murdered there.
Oh no.
Yeah, so it wasn't all good for Frank Lloyd.
No,
Wright,
it wasn't good at all.
But he
in
got
some
remarried.
cases.
He got remarried.
Oh, there
afterwards.
was another wife coming, so he was okay.
Yeah, so he recovered all right.
Yeah.
But that's a terrible.
Bad for her.
Yeah, terrible
Not
story
good
there.
for her.
And then a similar type of story here with my number 1 guy here, Charles Lindbergh, of course, the transatlantic aviator. His son Charles Jr. was abducted at 20 years old and murdered. It was dubbed the crime of the century, the trial of the century. It spurred Congress to pass Federal Kidnapping Act, which made transporting a kidnapping victim across state lines a federal crime.
Wow, that's incredible.
Yeah.
I've heard that Charles Lindbergh learned to fly in Lincoln.
Did you really?
Yeah. I don't know if it's true, but Grandpa told me that, so it must be true.
Yeah. A lot of somewhat connections between Wisconsin and Lincoln, it seems like a little bit. But anyways, that's your top 10 alumni of the University of Wisconsin with some fun stories to go
It
along
wasn't
with
your best, but it certainly wasn't your worst.
I only have so much to work with. It's Wisconsin. What do
That's
you want
right.
me to do?
That's right. You can only do what the
Not everybody
material
can be
provides.
Fordham.
Fordham was the best list.
That's right.
Fordham was an amazing list. We should go back through the Fordham list. Maybe a year in review type thing at some point. Let's get to break. Come back with more. It's Tom and Bock.
You're listening to Tom and Bock. Watch live on Facebook, YouTube, or Twitch. Early break with Sip and Jake.
This is what Rob Aller says. Ryan Day is clearly comfortable enough in his own unshaven skin not to care what others think. Whether that means saying goodbye to facial grooming or going for it on 4th and 3, when the prudent play might be to kick a field goal.
Do you hear yourself talking right now? This is ridiculous.
I read it on Sunday and did not think it was ridiculous.
You're crazy.
I did not think it was
that's
ridiculous.
so dumb.
I didn't think it was ridiculous.
Early break with Sip and Jake from 6 to 8 every weekday morning on 93.7 The Ticket.
Hi, this is Kurt, your shop manager at A1 Automotive here in downtown Lincoln. My promise to you is this: you won't find another automotive repair facility that genuinely cares about you and your vehicle. Our service is outstanding and our customer service is better. Please give me a call for all your automotive repair questions and needs. Call me at 402-477-4660. We were built on small town values, and that shows in how we treat others. A1 Automotive, always honest answers.
Hey, buying a used vehicle sucks, and the biggest problem is who can you trust? Hey, this is Carl from Price Right Auto out here at West O Street in Lincoln. Here's what customers have told us they want from us. They want transparent pricing with no games. We have all our pricing on our website, plus a Carfax report. We don't want to buy a lemon. We include a 3-month warranty on all of our vehicles. We don't want to play games. Just make it simple. You saw that with non-commissioned salespeople. Can you trust us? Just check out our Google reviews. Again, this is Carl from Price Right Auto in West O. Check us out at pricerightauto.com.
This is your High School Minute.
With your Southeast Community College High School Minute, I'm Harrison Arns. On Friday, football semifinals took place across the state. In Class A, Gretna shut out Omaha North 34-0, and Omaha Westside won over Bellevue West 41-26. In Class B, Bennington beat Elkhorn 28-1, and Aurora won over Omaha Scott 21-17. In Class C1, Pierce shut out Battle Creek 21-0, and Columbus Lakeview beat Kearney Catholic by 10, 31-21. In Class C2, Norfolk Catholic outpowered Wilbur Clatonia 35-12, and Ord was shut out by Archbishop Bergen 20-0. In D1, Howells Dodge won over Burwell 56-18, and Cross County beat Hitchcock County 56-20. In cross country news, Class A state champion Gabe Hendricks won the Nike Cross Nationals Heartland Regional in Sioux Falls. He was invited to the national meet, but it was canceled soon after. This has been your High School Minute, sponsored by Southeast Community College, with locations in Lincoln, Beatrice, and Milford. Learn more today at southeast.edu.
Join DP and Jay Foreman on Wednesday at Tanner's Bar and Grill at 30th and Yankee Hill. DP goes one-on-one with Husker Online Sean Callahan and joins Jay from 4 to 6 to preview the Wisconsin game and more. It's this Wednesday at Tanner's, 30th and Yankee Hill.
One host has a red beard and thinning hair. The other also has a red beard and thinning hair. One host got married over the summer. So did the other one. One is a diehard fan of a sub-500 AL Central baseball team. So is the other. Can these two radio hosts do a show together without getting confused as to their own identity? The same couple. Happer and Schaefer. Weekday mornings from 8 to 11 on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Lincoln's mega liquidation store is here. Wholesale Logistics is now open on West O Street as a bin store with tons of liquidation pallets, appliances, mattresses, furniture, and more. Brand new mattresses 30 to 60% off retail with well-known brands. New furniture also 30 to 60% off retail value. Brand new LG scratch and dent appliances 35 to 40% off retail. Wholesale Logistics purchases truckloads of smaller items from major retailers and throws them into bins, with everything starting at just $8. Get to Wholesale Logistics, open each Friday to Tuesday from 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. at 2811 West O Street.
93.7 The Ticket. Fox KFXL weather. Sponsored by Security First Bank. A relationship you can count on.
We'll see decreasing cloud cover, but a much cooler day on the way for our Wednesday. Topping out at 48 with northwest winds gusting to around 25. Mainly clear tonight, a low down to around 26. It will be partly to mostly sunny tomorrow and cool with a high of around 45. I'm meteorologist Tim Wright for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Want a free pair of Nebraska football tickets? Head to theticketfm.com's contest tab and register for a free pair of tickets each week of a home game, courtesy of Ben Bleicher with Professional Realty Group of Woods Brothers and 93.7 The Ticket.
Hey, it's DP. Join 93.7 The Ticket on Friday at Wingstop, 29th and Pine Lake. Try all the delicious wings options as we preview Saturday's Wisconsin game and Friday night's basketball game. That's all this Friday from 3 to 6 at South Lincoln's Wingstop location, 29th and Pine Lake.
You're listening to Tom and Bock on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome back. It is Tom and Bock. I'm Tom Stevens. That's Jake Bockhoven. Congratulations, Malachi Coleman. Got his 4-star Lincoln East wide receiver.
Yeah, that's a big deal to get
That is a
4-star.
big deal.
4-star here in the city of Lincoln.
Does he have a Nebraska offer?
I think that he's at least has interest from Nebraska. I'm not sure if there's an offer. He's a 2023 kid. See, I don't know.
We're not going to need wide receivers in 2023.
When he's labeled an athlete, so we'll see where he's going to.
We're going to the triple option. Back to the triple option with the new offense. So we won't need wide receivers at all. We'll look just like Army and Navy. Fred Hoiberg did speak to the media after the game. Obviously, does after every game. And one of the big topics of conversation was the point guard position. Alonzo Verge has struggled again last night. It was 5 of 15 for the field. Took some weird kind of shots. And the question is Is he still a point guard, or is he a point guard? But Hoiberg still has a lot of confidence in Alonzo Verge.
Well, again, he is such a gifted player, talented player, and he's always had a scorer's mentality, playing off the ball really for the last 4 years, and asked to score the ball at a high clip. Played off the ball last year with one of the top point guards, transferred to Kansas, Remy Martin, and now understanding getting in the paint, and he missed 3 layups right at the basket in the last game. He makes those. Maybe it was a different story for him, and but when he gets in there and makes a play, generally we get a good shot. And believe me, I still have 100% confidence in Alonzo Verge.
Do you, Bock? Do you have 100% confidence in Bock?
I think he's one of your more talented players, by far your best ball handler. I think that, it's going to be hard to get that scoring mentality out of him. That's how he's made it to where he is. So it's going to be an adjustment. And again, I don't know if it's as bad as people are making it as well.
Right.
I mean, because he did have a 4-to-1 turnover to assist ratio, or assist to turnover ratio last night. I think that even if he keeps playing as is, he'll lead, be one of the leaders in the Big Ten in assists. But clearly, obviously they kind of want a different look from him. I understand the groans, the audible groans in Pinnacle Bank Arena, and it's going to take some time. But I mean, he's by far, if not your most talented player, right up there with it. I mean, obviously got some talent and athleticism on the roster, but I think he's a key piece moving forward. I don't think that you should significantly drop his role or anything like that.
I'm having deja vu. Didn't we have this same conversation, all of us here on the ticket, regarding Teddy at times? Yeah. That he would take over games, but the offense was clunky. And I think Alonzo has done that already, where at times he takes over the game, but it looks clunky and the ball doesn't move. But Teddy was so good and Alonzo's so good that sometimes if the ball was going in, you didn't have a big problem with it. Even though it tended to be a lot of other guys standing around watching them play. That's what I'm worried about. And I think Hoiberg's trying to jump on this thing quick and make Alonzo a point guard. The points will come. That's, I think, probably his speech. The points will come, but please do it within the offense. And when you drive the lane, look to pass first rather than shoot first.
Well, but some of it too is just the movement without the ball, right? We can all get caught watching Alonzo Verge doing his, one-on-one type of thing. But if you're moving toward him or you kind of cut off his space, right, then he doesn't have anywhere to go. Then he has to move the ball. So unless he's waving you off, that could be a way for a teammate to do it. But the other thing is they scored several times on back cuts last night. That was a thing of beauty. But you just watch Creighton, some of their guys moving without the ball, finding an open spot. A lot of it's just kind of standing around watching Alonzo, get in position to rebound, get in a position to drive behind him or get your guy watching him as well. I mean, so some of it, can be the teammates around him that open up opportunities for themselves because he's got the ball handling ability to be enough of a distraction that he can kick it out if you're moving. But if you're just standing there and your defender's just standing there and everybody's watching and you're not getting in rebounding position, then it is just going to be ISO Alonzo.
It will be. And there are nights where maybe we don't even complain about it because again, he's so good. He missed a lot of layups at the rim. That was a problem last year. It's been a problem in a couple games this year. I think that's a big part of the shooting percentage. If you could make some of those layups, sometimes 6 or 7 a game, or at least 5 or 6, your shooting percentage would be dramatically better than it has so far. Nebraska hasn't hit over the 41% mark from a team that we thought would be an excellent shooting team. Now, at times they've shot the 3 pretty well, but their shooting in total has not been good, a lot because of missed layups around the rim. One of the notes to come out of, a big note to come out of last night's game, of course, is McGowan's. Trey McGowan's lost for maybe we don't know how long. I'm hoping that he can come back at some point this season. This is Fred Hoiberg talking about the loss of Trey McGowan's.
Just first of all, guys, a quick update on Trey. He broke his foot tonight, so just devastating news for the heart and soul of our team, and came down on it wrong and broke the 5th metatarsal. So he'll meet with our team tomorrow, a team of physicians and trainers, and we'll put a time frame on the rehab and when we can expect him back. You know, we expect him fully to make a full recovery and be back to normal. We don't know the time frame of it yet, but it's just heartbreaking for a guy that has come in here and bought into his role. He is our best leader. Kobe's 100% right on that. What uses his voice every day in practice, from the warm up all the way to the end. So really tough loss. You know, really feel for him. He'll have a lot of support through this process, and hopefully he'll be back as soon as possible.
So the double whammy, not only do you start 1-2 on the season, you've lost your best team leader. Lost your best on-ball defender. You've lost the glue of your team, the guy, the heart and soul, as Fred Hoiberg said, of this basketball team. And you could say, well, they'll try to overcome it. They'll overcome it, but that's way easier said than done.
Yeah, it is, and it is a lot of those other things. Like Bryce McGowan's the player has Trey McGowan's, excuse me, the player has enough in him, like we've been mentioning, perimeter defender, all that stuff that he brings to the table. But it's kind of, he just feels like the leader of the team. The guy came back, was excited to play with his brother, for the first time in years. This just isn't the way that you envision it happening. But life throws you curveballs. Both the team and Trey are going to have to deal with this the best that they can, and hopefully, like Hoiberg was saying, that there's a hope that he's back at some point this season. So hopefully by the time he can come back, Nebraska's playing better and relevant ball, and he'll be an extra piece that can boost them at that point.
Yeah, they will desperately miss his intensity from a team that lacks intensity. You never question that from Trey McGowan. He's just an intense guy anyway. And the best athlete, I think, one of the, if not the best, I think maybe Keon Edwards would compete for that role, best athlete. But Trey McGowan's, he's a built dude. And now he breaks a bone in his foot. And who knows, you might get him somewhere around the Big Ten season, or you might not get him at all. But I think you have to go forward preparing that you're not going to get him at all.
Yeah, because I mean, and like Coach said, you might get the timeline of it today, but it's a big loss for this team.
Yeah.
And I mean, so fun to watch. That's going to be part of it that hurts for Nebraska ball, viewing pleasure too. Is you've had teams in the past in Nebraska where they'd have 2 or 3 guys that could dunk, and it was like one hand with a tennis ball. This guy can throw it down.
Oh, it would be interesting to get the all-time best Nebraska dunkers ever.
Oh yeah,
he would be on that list.
He'd have to be.
He would have to be on. He had one of the best ones in not against Colorado, but I think it was against Western Illinois.
Yeah,
where
he had 2 big ones.
You thought that kind of sealed the game. The one at the end that gave Nebraska, I think, a 4-point lead, and then they gave it up. But I thought that was the defining moment. He could go over top of people. He tried to do it again last night.
Yeah.
And he drew a foul and he made 2 free throws on that. But he tried to jam it from the top of the key.
That's what amazes me when he goes up for those. You're thinking, oh wait, that's a little too far. But it's not. He's always getting rim
that guy's
and almost throwing it down.
He's a better athlete from what I've seen than his brother, the 5-star Bryce McGowan. So he'll be desperately missed by Nebraska basketball, and we'll see how they react. Sometimes teams step up when that happens, and it's the next man up mentality. The latest college football rankings have no new teams in the top 7. 1 through 7 is all the same. You have Georgia number 1, followed by Alabama number 2. Then you've got Oregon, Ohio State, and Cincinnati number 5. Then you've got Michigan, followed by Michigan State at 7, Notre Dame at 8, Oklahoma State. Actually, Oklahoma State is 10, so I missed one in there somewhere. But what do you think of the latest rankings? They get it right. The top 7 are all the same.
Yeah, not a whole lot of movement among the top 7. It's kind of interesting what they do with Oklahoma now, even below 2 teams that have lost 2 games, and Ole Miss and Baylor. They're all the way down at 13. They're going to get a chance. Maybe if they beat number 9 Oklahoma State, get another win to kind of get back into the mix. But that's where they should be considering their schedule this far. It just hasn't been very tough. I kind of like what they're doing there. They don't just let the brand kind of get above the fact that they haven't played a very difficult schedule. So that looks good. Wisconsin at number 15. That's up 3 spots, so they're kind of getting a little bit of respect there. Iowa also up 3 spots if you're looking at the Big Ten West, in the next couple opponents. So you're looking, it's looking, and if Iowa beats Illinois this weekend, 2 top 20 opponents for Nebraska to finish the season. Looks like they'll be there by the time they play them. So another opportunity to somewhat change the narrative and get your biggest win in the Frost era, as weird as it is, regardless if it will be going for 4-8 or whatever the case may be. But still some big opportunities out there for them. But as far as the playoffs go, if you end it today, that's the type of playoff that I'd like to see. Cincinnati's going to, like we've said all along, just need some help. And this Ohio State, Michigan State crossover that we're going to see in the final 2 weeks is just going to be amazing.
I think if Cincinnati wins out, they're going to get the help that they want. Oregon, for example, is favored to lose to Utah this weekend. Utah is the favorite to Oregon. It'll be difficult for Oregon, I think, to win out. I do think Georgia will beat Alabama. And so maybe Alabama falls out. I mean, if they get in with 2 losses, that's going to create a lot of anger from teams like Cincinnati if they go undefeated. But Cincinnati, there's a lot of teams that are going to need some help. Cincinnati probably, or Notre Dame, for example, needs Cincinnati to lose.
Yeah.
I don't see a lot there because Notre Dame still has Michigan and Michigan State ahead of them, along with Ohio State. So it feels like the Big Ten champion, if it's a 1-loss team, is in. I think everybody's biggest worry is that both Georgia and Alabama somehow manage to get in. That knocks a lot of people out.
I just don't. I mean, and if Alabama beats Georgia, then that's what's going to happen, and deservedly so. It will kind of crowd the 4 that you have going in. Cincinnati, by the week, 8-2 SMU, their biggest test on the regular season, probably going to have a championship game in there as well. So they've kind of got 2 big tests, and one of them are this week. I personally, I know a lot of people are cheering for Cincinnati. I kind of like them to get out of the way and let the big boys do the fighting.
By the way, Michigan's kind of rooting for Ohio State this week because Michigan State, that's the team that beat them. They have Ohio State. So Michigan would like to see Ohio State, win this week and then play a 1-loss Ohio State in Ann Arbor next week.
Yeah.
That looks better to the committee if Ohio State doesn't lose before they play them. Plus, it knocks Michigan State out of it for Michigan's purposes.
That could be interesting. You're right. If Michigan State wins this week and then Michigan just doesn't really have a chance to rebuttal there, then they'll be a 1-loss team not going to the Big Ten championship game. And it depends on, of course, they'd have to take care of their business against Ohio State the following week. Penn State would also present a challenge for Michigan State as they round things up. So still a possibility there, but that's very true. The Michigan State win this week could really doom the Wolverines.
The one we never talk about, Oklahoma State, because they're so far down there, but that's a pretty good football team. They're playing great defense. If they run the table, I know they're going to need a lot of help, but if they run the table, the Big 12 is better than, for example, the ACC. It's way better. Yeah. It's not a bad conference. It's a really good conference. So, they might be in the discussion as well, Oklahoma State.
Yeah, you could see it. I mean, they're kind of, Wake Forest, you could probably argue still in there at the ACC at, 9-1 as well. But like we're saying, for Cincinnati, the most important thing is Michigan State, Ohio State will figure each other out. You only get one amongst that group. Yeah. So the next 1-loss team after those Big Ten teams is Notre Dame. And Oklahoma State could jump Notre Dame if Oklahoma State beats Oklahoma, and that's impressive enough. But they have that tiebreaker over Notre Dame, so the head-to-head. So that should give them at least the edge there. But it's going to be fascinating. I think you're right. Don't sleep on Oklahoma State because 2 wins against Oklahoma or win against Oklahoma and Baylor, whatever happens in the Big 12 championship game, that could be enough. And it almost would be enough for me if you beat Baylor twice and Oklahoma once. That probably deserved to get in.
I think Notre Dame needs a lot of help. Their strength of schedule is not very good, and they don't have a lot of marquee wins. Plus, they lost to Cincinnati, so Cincinnati wins out. They're ahead of Notre Dame, so it's going to be difficult, I think, for the Irish.
And Notre Dame's the team, just historically, when they get that big moment, they seem kind of outmatched. It's good for them to get there. They're a great brand in college football. I love college football a lot better when Notre Dame is good. But I don't know. I feel like maybe even their not just their schedule this year, but their past performances once they get to these college football playoffs might hurt them a little bit too.
They're not like even top 30 or 40 on offense or defense. They don't do anything that well, except for they win. They remind me a little bit of Iowa. The way they win, except for Iowa, I think is in a tougher, has had a much tougher schedule than Notre Dame. Although Notre Dame does have the Wisconsin win, and that's looking better and better.
I believe I'd have to double check. I think Kyle Hamilton, their star safety, is out for the year, or at least out for the time being, so that might hurt him as well. They wrap it up with Georgia Tech and Stanford, so shouldn't be much of a problem there, though Stanford did get the upset victory over Oregon earlier this year, so maybe something there.
Stanford has not been good as of late.
No.
They've been really bad. So the strength of schedule is not going to improve with those two teams.
But Notre Dame looks like they'll be a one-loss team. But you're right. They might end up 5th or 6th of those teams.
They'll be a one-loss team. It's just that that one loss is a team that's still ahead of them, and if they win out, they're in. Probably in. I think Cincinnati should be in. Let's get to the break and come back with Wingman 464-5685. It is What's the Hook Wednesday. I think I'm going to try to read the song with a country accent.
With your voice today?
Yeah, with this voice.
That'll be perfect.
Well, it's going to be terrible, and it's coming up next. 464-5685. We'll do it next.
Download our app by searching 93.7 The Ticket in your app store to stay in touch and listen all day long wherever you are. This is Tom and Bock.
Listening to this Allstate commercial about savings might be the hardest thing about getting those savings. Save for simply becoming an Allstate customer. Save more for adding DriveWise. And save even more for driving safely. Visit Allstate.com or contact your local agent for a quote today. Allstate. Minimum effort, maximum reward.
Not available in every state. New customer savings based on early signing discount. DriveWise is an optional feature. Savings vary based on how you buy. Subject to terms and conditions. Allstate Fire and Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
You knew the risks when you decided to drive drunk. There could be a crash. People could get hurt or killed. But that didn't stop you, did it? You knew you could get arrested. You could incur huge legal expenses, and you could possibly even lose your job. You were well aware of the consequences of driving drunk. But one thing's for sure. You were wrong when you said it was no big deal. Drive sober or get pulled over. This message brought to you by NHTSA.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Sponsored by Security First Bank, a relationship you can count on.
We'll see decreasing cloud cover, but a much cooler day on the way for our Wednesday, topping out at 48 with northwest winds gusting to around 25. Mainly clear tonight, a low down to around 26. It will be partly to mostly sunny tomorrow and cool with a high of around 45. I'm meteorologist Tim Wright for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
One-on-one with DP.
Let's bring in Husker Baseball's Camp Chick. You guys battled, but you guys had fun.
Yeah, I think it's just because we loved each other. Last year and my freshman year, the two closest teams I've ever been a part of in my entire life. We would spin until almost midnight curfews on the weekends, playing two-ball in the hotel conference.
And most
people don't even know that. Curfew would be at 11:30 or 12 if it was a later game, and we'd all be in there sweat.
On 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome back, Husker fans. Eustace Body Shop is happy to welcome the best fans in college football back to Lincoln. With gold-class certified service, OEM parts, and free loaner cars, Eustace Body Shop can call the right plays to keep you in the game. Whether it's in Lincoln at 88th and Highway 2 or at any of our other 5 locations across Nebraska, Eustace Body Shop can help get you back on the road. Go Big Red.
The most recommended Eustace Body Shop. That's who we are.
Join DP and Jay Foreman on Wednesday at Tanner's Bar and Grill at 30th and Yankee Hill. DP goes one-on-one with Husker Online Sean Callahan and joins Jay from 4 to 6 to preview the Wisconsin game and more. It's this Wednesday at Tanner's, 30th and Yankee Hill.
Angry about a recent Nebraska football loss? Go throw axes at Kraft Axe Throwing. Optimistic about the upcoming Nebraska football game? Go sign up for free football tickets at Kraft Axe Throwing. Bring some friends, reserve a bay for an hour or more, release anger at the targets by hucking an axe at it, and walk away feeling better about yourselves and the football season just in time to enter for a chance to win a free pair of tickets to the next home game as you walk out the door. Reserve your lane online at craftaxethrowing.com or call 402-802-9696. Kraft Axe Throwing at 18th and N in Lincoln.
Allo Business customers get more than just fast, reliable connections. They get service and support to meet all their voice, data, and TV needs. Because supporting your business is our business. Allo delivers peace of mind with a 100% fiber network, hosted PBX solutions, redundancy protection, and best-in-class service to back it all up. To get your free quote and switch today, visit allofiber.com/workfast or call 402-480-6685. That's 402-480-6685.
Early break with Sip and Jake.
This is what Rob Aller says. Ryan Day is clearly comfortable enough in his own unshaven skin not to care what others think. Whether that means saying goodbye to facial grooming or going for it on 4th and 3, when the prudent play might be to kick a field goal.
Do you hear yourself talking right now?
This
is ridiculous.
I read it on Sunday and did not think it was ridiculous.
You're crazy.
I did not think it was
that's
ridiculous.
so dumb.
I didn't think it was ridiculous.
Early break with Sip and Jake from 6 to 8 every weekday morning on 93.7 The Ticket. This is Wingman.
Son, your ego is writing checks your body can't cash. I don't like you because you're dangerous. That's right. You can be my wingman anytime.
Brought to you by Buffalo Wings and Rings on 93.7 The Ticket.
464-5685. Call right now on the Honda of Lincoln hotline to win $15 to Buffalo Wings and Rings so you can get some tickets.
Oh, Yardbirds.
All right. This is what I have to deal with. This is what I got to use. It's the only voice I have today. And it's about roached. DP said he would come in for me, but I thought, if you can't hang out for one more hour, come on, buck it up.
Tom, you make me worried, man. You worry me.
You're not the only one that I worry. I worry everybody. Mailman Dan says, I'm just setting up sick days down the road.
Yeah.
I might be.
You got to hold on to those.
All right. I'm going to read the lyrics to today's song, Up Until the Hook, in a country accent with this voice. And you guess the name of the song.
If we need to repeat it, we can do that too.
No, we always think he's cheating because he always knows the answer. What's he doing with his phone?
I'm on Twitter right now.
Oh, it's just
He's always doing something to cheat. But he does have an amazing memory, so he remembers everything. So he'll probably know this song. Here we go. In a country accent. One life, and I'm going to live it up. I'm taking flight, and I'll never get enough. Stand tall. I'm young and kind of proud. I'm on top as long as the music's loud. If you think I'll just sit around as the world goes by, you're thinking like a fool, because it's a case or do or die.
I think that helps your what is it, the Western country?
Yeah, that's right. You think it helps?
I think your voice helps this week.
Do you know the name of that song? Either of you guys know?
I do not.
I have no clue.
All right, we finally got Nick. We got him. Nick didn't know. We'll see if the caller does. 464-5685. Houston. Somebody from Houston would know a Southern accent.
I think
song.
I do.
You think you do?
I do. I think I do.
Nick, you don't know it?
I think I might actually, Houston. Is it Judas Priest? Is that? I don't know.
It is, yeah. I was going to say, you got another thing coming if you don't.
That's it. It's another thing coming, baby. Judas Priest, Rob Halford. This is the song. Mad, you got another thing coming. There you go. There you go. Yeah, I thought I nailed it with the Southern accent.
You're a Judas Priest fan. That's that kind of gets you in a mood, I think.
Yeah, I like Judas Priest.
Yeah.
A little that stuff from the late 70s, early 80s, something. I think early 80s.
Yeah, I actually heard that song. I was listening to so Spotify, they have, and maybe Apple Music does it too, but they have like the pre-made playlists.
Yep.
And I searched old country, and that song was on there.
All right. Beautiful. Old country?
I just searched old country.
That
song
shouldn't
was
be on
there.
an old
Back
country.
to
playlist.
the old country.
That's back to the old country.
So I don't know if
guess.
it was just a list of 70s and 80s songs or whatever.
I consider it more classic rock.
Yeah.
Classic.
Who
rock.
knows?
So what were your feelings after watching Nebraska versus Creighton last night?
It was disappointing. Not too encouraged by what some of the things that they did last night. Or didn't do. Rebounding is going to be a problem. We knew it coming in, and if they can't score points, then they're not going to be able to stay in any games, especially when you pair that with their lack of ability to rebound. And now you lose a guy in Trey McGowan, which I don't have to remind you guys had 9 of their rebounds. I mean, against Sam Houston, and that's one of your better rebounding guards and Trey McGowan's and better defenders. And now you're supposed to go up. Who knows how long he's out, but now you're supposed to go up against some of the. They'll probably be okay through the rest of non-con, but once you get to that start of the Big Ten schedule, I mean, you face Michigan State, the physical teams of Purdue and things like that. You're really going to see how much they miss Trey McGowan's number one, and just wish they had height.
You know what's funny to
and
me?
Physicality.
Is this team almost feels like one of those Tim Miles teams where you had James Palmer or Petaway, Pitchford. You had shooters. You had a couple of shooters, but you had guys that could really drive to the rim. But they were often better when they would burn clock and just, try to take people off the dribble at the end of the clock. There's no way Hoiberg's doing that.
No.
No, there's no way they're doing that.
One thing that's so frustrating to me is that they have shooters. They just don't run an offense to where they get quality shots. And that's not
To
saying,
be fair, when they did in the corner, they airballed.
they did airball. Yes, you're right. But you got I'm still like in the boat of this team has shooters. They have good shooters.
Yep.
They just don't run anything to get shots. And I'm just sitting there like it was stagnant. And then when you're not hitting shots, they look like they're just half-heartedly in it. And that's just all an effort thing.
Conversely, Creighton had great effort and had lots of shooters, and they got them open. I mean, they would run plays for them and get them open. I think that's, when the Hoiberg offense is well-oiled, when it's well-oiled, when it looks good, it can really look good. We've seen when it does look good. I mean, I think you saw it at times versus Colorado. It can get shots, but it takes somebody to get guys shots, and that's a point guard that Nebraska doesn't have.
Well, and I think the whole idea of this team just will not have scoring droughts is probably out of play now.
I lied about that.
Yeah,
one.
this is a scoring drought type of team.
I will say I was pretty frustrated when I looked at the stat sheet after the game last night. And not to call a single player out, because last night there were a lot of things that did not go Nebraska's way, and effort's one of them. But it's hard to look at a point guard and say that you're 5 of 15 from the field and you've played the fourth most minutes. You're out there 22 minutes or whatever, and you're taking 4 or 5 more shots than the next guy, Kobe Webster and CJ Wilcher, and you're the point guard. And that's the whole thing. I've kind of been on the boat, and I know we got to get to break, but that's my whole thing is like this quote unquote offense is all about space and everything, where if you run it and you pass, you're going to get your shots. Like even as a point guard, you're going to get your opportunities to score. And if you're a big guy that's worried, or if you're a guy that's worried so much about scoring and everything, well, then number one, maybe you shouldn't be a point guard. And number two, you just got to embrace the role. And
we'll see.
I don't know how much this team has embraced roles.
Yeah, they definitely haven't completely. All right. I'm guessing more of this conversation coming up on Happy Hour about an hour from now. Let's get to break and come back with more of Tom and Bock.
You're listening to Tom and Bock. Watch live on Facebook, YouTube, or Twitch.
Is your furnace or heat pump ready for winter? Call Bryant to schedule your home heating check. Comfortable, safe, efficient. Bryant Air Conditioning and Heating, 467-1111.
Breakfast tacos, brisket tacos, pork tacos, chicken tacos. You hungry yet? I can keep going. Pork or chicken, queso nachos, queso mac and cheese, hatch mac burritos. Now you're salivating. Muchachos is Lincoln's premier New Mexico barbecue fusion restaurant. You can't miss them in their bright blue building. Pair that great food with delicious coffee for breakfast and a variety of local and national beers on tap the rest of the day. Order your food online at yomuchacho.com or visit them in person at Muchachos on South 11th Street between L and K Streets.
Welcome back, Husker fans. Eustace Body Shop is happy to welcome the best fans in college football back to Lincoln. With Gold Class certified service, OEM parts, and free loaner cars, Eustace Body Shop can call the right plays to keep you in the game. Whether it's in Lincoln at 88th and Highway 2 or at any of our other 5 locations across Nebraska, Eustace Body Shop can help get you back on the road. Go Big Red.
The most recommended Eustace Body Shop. That's who we are.
Welcome to today's episode of The Great Unknowns. Last time, we talked about why chickens can't just cross the road in peace. Today's topic is the great unknowns of the future. Like, am I ready for what life throws at me? Well, that answer is easy. Just call a local State Farm agent. State Farm agents will help you plan for the what-ifs in life so you know what to expect if the unexpected happens. When you want the real deal, like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Call your local State Farm agent, Vinny Krekak, at 402-474-1173.
Your home should not be a zoo to unwelcomed animals. Let the experts at Bats to Rats take care of those problems. Dane has been a leader in wildlife and pest management and prevention in Lincoln and the surrounding area for 15 years. He can help you get rid of bats, rodents, and anything else. Whether it's residential or commercial buildings, schools, apartments, or churches, they're always a phone call away. Call today at 402-310-0904 or visit batstoRats.com. Bats to Rats Wildlife Control and Prevention.
This is your high school minute.
With your Southeast Community College High School Minute, I'm Harrison Arns. On Friday, football semifinals took place across the state. In Class A, Gretna shut out Omaha North 34-0, and Omaha Westside won over Bellevue West 41-26. In Class B, Bennington beat Elkhorn 28-1, and Aurora won over Omaha Scott 21-17. In Class C1, Pierce shut out Battle Creek 21-0. And Columbus Lakeview beat Kearney Catholic by 10, 31-21. In Class C2, Norfolk Catholic outpowered Wilbur Clatonia 35-12, and Ord was shut out by Archbishop Bergen 20-0. In D1, Howells Dodge won over Burwell 56-18, and Cross County beat Hitchcock County 56-20. In cross country news, Class A state champion Gabe Hendricks won the Nike Cross Nationals Heartland Regional in Sioux Falls. He was invited to the national meet, but it was canceled soon after. This has been your High School Minute, sponsored by Southeast Community College, with locations in Lincoln, Beatrice, and Milford. Learn more today at southeast.edu.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com. On the internet, KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket. This is Tom and Bock, coming at you live from Coppel Chevrolet GMC Studios in the heart of Lincoln, America, on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Here are your hosts, Tom Stevens.
Hey, what day is it?
To my knowledge, Wednesday.
Well, we're happier than a camel on Wednesday, baby.
Jake Bockoven.
Coach told me when we're in Rome, we do as Romans, and when we're in Italy, we do as Italians. So Italians, they eat pizza after the game.
Tom and Bock starts now.
Welcome in hour number 3. I'm going to make it, Bock. It's going to happen.
We'll see, I guess.
Somebody on the text line says I sound like their chain-smoking aunt.
You do, yeah.
You don't know what that guy's aunt sounds like.
I can envision. It sounds like you.
It's happened before. I love the cool part of the stage of the cold. This is the part where you just can't talk at all. It's gone.
Yeah.
And I think part of it had to do with I was screaming at the officials last night. I was not pleased. I was up there. Brian G., our security guy, who listens to this station, listens to our show, came up and checked on me, said he was making his rounds, but then I concerned him a little bit. I was yelling, but then I was fine. And Nebraska started to come back, and then I started yelling again in the second half. But I think it's mostly a cold. It's not from the yelling.
You should do your country voice, though, too, because it
You like
sounds,
the country
sounds
voice.
good together with your cold.
I did it earlier
Yeah.
for the song, Another Thing Coming. I thought I nailed it. That was one of my better performances.
was.
But I think a lot of it had to do with the fact the voice is so raspy. But I always wanted to have the day after this, like tomorrow, my voice will sound gradually better. It'll sound like FM DJ voice. That's the voice I'm after.
Yeah.
The guy that you worked with in radio that made, probably $20,000 more than you because he had pipes and the chicks dug him.
Yeah.
But those guys
That's
are
gonna be
also,
you.
those guys are almost always smokers. They almost always are.
Yeah, it helps your voice. I've considered smoking for a while to get a better voice.
Just for the voice.
Yeah.
Just for the added voice benefits. That's good.
I kind of have a nasally, weaselly voice. I
Yeah.
need some. Yeah, I need some of what you got today.
Yeah. Well, I think it's pretty damn cool. That's for sure. What does success look like for you for Nebraska football next year? What will success be? Because it could be 6-6, and you might get to a bowl game. But as we know, the schedule goes from one of the toughest in college football to just, you're in the Big Ten and you play a Big Ten schedule, and it's tough. And what makes it tough is you're talking about year 5 of the Frost era. But for you, Bock, what will you know when you see success? Will it just be the record? Is it just win baby time?
It feels like it's just you need to add some wins in there, but part of it too has to be this other thing that Scott Frost doesn't have, which is a good victory, right? I mean, if you do his top 10 victories, it's almost a joke. There's nobody over 7-6 on there by the end of the year. So while it's nice that the schedule lightens up, for one thing, that hasn't proven to be much of a benefactor for Nebraska, because when they're playing the big opponents or whether they're playing, some middling opponents, they play down to them and they eventually lose. So it doesn't necessarily translate to victories, but you want to see it. But it's just interesting, because are you going to be able to tell if there's a lot of progress made, even with the record getting better? So it's kind of like do you really want progress, or do you want more wins? Because those could be different conversations. You could have not as good of a team this year and end up 6-6 next year.
They think of that Mike Riley team that went 9-4.
Right.
That team was terrible. I mean, by the end of the year, when they played Tennessee, they were pretty terrible.
They were pretty roughed up by then.
They were roughed up by then, but so what? I mean, everybody gets injuries in college football. It just felt like that was our best team, but that was our best team in years.
Yeah.
Would that team have beaten this team? No, it would not have.
They would have beaten them. They might not have been better, but they would have beaten them, because everybody beats this team.
That's probably true. Okay, they might have been good enough to beat them. They wouldn't have been a better team, though.
No.
And that's kind of where I'm going with this conversation is, would that be success? Because it didn't feel like at the end of the year that was a great football team, or that I had a lot of optimism after going 9-4 with Mike Riley that year. Was that 2016? I'm trying to think of 2016. Yeah. That things were on the right track just because you had won 9 games. But if they go 9-4 and the 4 losses are similar to what we've seen this year, I'm going to think they're on the right track. This team is competing with everybody. A lot of still 4 one-score losses if it goes 9-4. But at least you're winning your share. You're winning 9 games. So that would be a successful year. But 6-6, I mean, what's it look like? Does it look just like this year, where you're winning some good games, or maybe you find a way to beat some of the best teams in this entire conference? I don't know. Or you find a way to beat Oklahoma next year, but you're still 6-6?
Well, and it's just, I mean, it's fascinating because we do this discussion. We don't know who the quarterback is going to be. We don't know who the offensive coordinator is going to be. You don't know if a lot of these super juniors are coming back, but it's just this hard line expectation now in year 5 that it's got to move forward. It's got to get better. And I just think that there's a possibility that it doesn't get better, but the record fools you into thinking it's getting better. And then, you're sticking there, and then you're just kind of in this, this 1 year decision turns into a 2 or 3 year kind of elongating the what's at the end, which is a dismissal. But that's a possibility. It might be completely different. Maybe you do break out. I don't care how bad you look. If you go 9-3, I'll be happy. But if we're talking about getting to 7-5 or 6-6, and it doesn't necessarily look like there's progress made, you're just winning on the other end, then I think you still have a decision to make of where this program is heading.
Yeah, I think you're right. I mean, if we go back to 9-3, 9-4, similar to Bo Pelini, where they were embarrassing losses when you did lose them, but you were always 9-3, or in some cases 10-4, and at times you looked really, really good, and at times you were playing in championship games. That's a dramatic improvement. I mean, if you could go back to Bo Pelini right now, I think a lot of people would take that in a heartbeat.
Oh yeah,
and that wasn't. I mean, we didn't like it.
Oh no,
we like it now. Because we had to consider where Iowa was, and now Iowa's kicking our ass every year.
But do you feel like in those losses, that's the thing is, in the best point made by any Frost supporter is like, do you feel like you're further away than you were in those games when like you just couldn't step on the same field with a top 15 opponent without losing by 50? Whereas now, you're not winning games, but at least you're playing with anybody that you step on the field with. I mean, there's not somebody around the nation that I go, oh, Nebraska just couldn't play with those guys.
Within reason, right? I think I would take 7-5 or even 6-6 if you're playing with everybody, rather than 9-4 and getting blown out by Wisconsin in championship games, or blown out on Black Friday against Iowa. Big, you finally make it to the national stage and Ohio State just drills you and it's over in the first quarter. I think I would almost take this version of what's happening now in 6-6, 7-5, than 9-4.
Yeah,
getting blown out.
But 3-9 is too much.
But 3-9 is not good enough.
Or 4-8. You know. And it's interesting because, I mean, they made this decision. Obviously, our mantra of moving the goalpost back was just get to 5. And now there's not any pressure to get to 5. It doesn't really matter what happens.
And that was the whole point of getting rid of coaches, is relieve the pressure.
Yeah.
Tell us now Scott Frost is going back. He's coming back. He deserves it because he's our brother, and mistakes have been made. But we're gonna get this thing right. We've got a great defense. We'll find 4 coordinators that can get this thing rolling. And you'll see we really are close. And we'll find out next year that we really are close. I don't know that people believe that, but that's what they're saying. I think Trev Alberts knows there's a lot of risk here. He knows there's a ton of risk.
Do you think there's a possibility Scott Frost doesn't get back on his flight from Ireland when everybody else does if they lose that one? I mean, it's similar to the Illinois game this year, where it's just like you just cannot lose that one.
By the way, Heidi asked me yesterday if I wanted to go to Ireland. She says, be prepared. There are 2 things they do a lot of. They play golf, which I love.
There you go.
And they drink. And I go, what's the backdrop? I mean, that's basically what they do. There's a pub on every corner and there's a golf course, somewhere within there, a 5-mile radius.
You might just stay there if you fly
That's
over.
right. I would like, here's the thing about Ireland next year. If I go to Ireland, I mean, I'd like to take 2 weeks, right? If you go to Europe, and that'd be leaving here during the football season if I'm still here. So you're like, I don't know. That's a big deal.
It's a big ask.
DP and I at one point had talked about doing our show from Ireland before it was canceled.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah, so that would have been fun. Some think I sound like their aunt, their chain smoking aunt. I think I sound like Peter Griffin in this scene.
I heard you coming. I made myself heard. Where have you come from? I've come from where I've been. You still riding with that mangy polecat Fletcher? Fletcher met the long arm of the law at the wrong end of a shotgun and the deep end of a grave at the far end of a dead-end road.
That was what his voice sounded like because he had a cold. Actually, I'm probably a couple of days away from that.
Yeah.
But I would like to be able to talk like that, and you can get that after, getting a cold. Let's see. Simpsons. You think I sound more like Marge.
Well, yeah, Marge's sisters.
Marge's sisters. Here they are, the chain smoking sisters.
Just for that, you have to crawl around on the floor like the dog you are.
Yes, ma'am.
Now say, I am Homer Simpson, the lowly dog, in a dog voice.
I am Romer Run.
Well, good. Jump, Homer, jump.
Yeah, so I sounded. And I think more like Marge's sisters.
Yeah, Patty and Selma there.
Yeah, Patty and Selma. I think I've nailed that one. You mentioned this yesterday. We didn't spend a lot of time on it yesterday, but Nebraska's baseball schedule is out. Nebraska It's going to be a good schedule. Let's see. Let's try to go through it here. Bringing it up. Nebraska's baseball 2022 schedule announced yesterday. 33 home games, 14 weeks of the season, obviously. The highlight of the early part of the schedule is in February. February 25th through the 27th. They're going to go to Globe Life Field, which is where the Rangers play to play TCU. That might be a fun trip if you want to do. It's like $1 billion stadium, brand new facility. In March, Nebraska will play 15 of its 17 games at Haymarket Park. That's wishful thinking.
That's
because,
a lot.
And that you never know what kind of weather you're going to get in March in Nebraska. But teams during that month to visit Haymarket Park: San Diego State, Long Beach State, New Mexico State, Texas A&M, Corpus Christi. So pretty decent schedule there. And then they open the Big Ten play March 25th through the 27th against Michigan at home. Nebraska, of course, won the Big Ten championship last year. And this time, last year, of course, it was league only. Played everybody in the league at least 3 times. This year, they're going to go back to the standard model where everybody plays 8 teams and you're missing 4. The Big Ten only has 12 teams in baseball. But Nebraska won't play Maryland, Northwestern. They won't play Penn State or Purdue. They begin their season February 18th through the 20th. Sam Houston State, that's where Lance Harvell used to coach. And so now he has a relationship, obviously, still with those guys. And then you've got the Big Ten tournament returning to TD Ameritrade. I'm excited for that. May 24th through the 29th to finally have the Big Ten tournament back at TD Ameritrade. It's such a great atmosphere. And if Nebraska, could you imagine what that scene would have been last year with Nebraska or just doing that, wrapping up the Big Ten championship, regular season championship, and then the scene in Omaha, what it would have been like at TD Ameritrade. And of course the College World Series is there as well. So.
Yeah, I'm excited for that, and that's it. It's just a marriage that makes a lot of sense, right? I mean, it's where the College World Series is played. So if it's in your Big Ten footprint, play it there. It's built. It's a building that doesn't get a whole lot of action outside of the College World Series. So kind of a warm up for the city of Omaha as well. And that'll be fascinating. Of course, Nebraska should be one of the favorites going in there, but there's a lot of work to do. Obviously, they have to replace a lot of people. That TCU game seems to be, or the TCU series is the big non-con matchup. TCU was a top 15 type team last year. Was there anybody else that kind of stood out to you as far as the non-con? Because sometimes Nebraska loads up on really good non-con opponents. I feel like they didn't do it as much this year, though they still got some strong play.
Long Beach State is good. New Mexico State should be good. San Diego State, any of those, any of those Western teams should be really good. I would imagine Long Beach is always good. But I don't know. I mean, you're right. Usually see an Arizona State or a Baylor. You have it this year in TCU. I mean, you have a Big 12 team. So maybe you don't want to overschedule. I mean, I imagine there's a delicate balance. But Darren Erstad used to do that all the time.
Yeah.
Because once you got into conference play, your RPI goes down and there's no way to make it up. So sometimes even with a loss, or if you can win one game in the series, it really helps your RPI.
Yeah.
Even if it's, you lose the series 2-1. And that's the value of doing it. Darren Erstad really scheduled hard. And I think Will Bolt will do that as well. But I think there's a fine line as well. I think ultimately the Big Ten should be good. I think Michigan, I know it's been a few years, but when they got in the college World Series finale, I think it helped the image of the entire league.
I thought it did. And then last year, you didn't get much respect from the committee. So
right, they did well because they didn't play any non-league games.
Right,
and the RPI of the Big Ten just wasn't very good. They were the only conference that didn't schedule outside the league, and we knew that was going to hurt Nebraska. But I also think it toughened them up going to Arkansas for the Fayetteville Regional. I just think that team was tough. They embraced it. They're going to lose. They're going to lose a lot of dudes. They're going to be a fairly young team, but they've still got a significant foundation. And more importantly, they've got coaches who just believe.
Yeah.
Their coaches are great. I mean, when you talk about the hierarchy of coaches at Nebraska, sure, it starts with John Cook, but Bolt's not very far down that list. I mean, he's really good.
And you would say he's not far behind. He is far behind, but he's not far down the list because Cook is just.
Well, everybody's way behind Cook.
It's crazy what he's been able
Everybody's
to do.
way behind Cook, but I mean,
in a short amount of time, Bolt's definitely right up there, and it's going to be fun, and it might provide some relief. I've already seen some people saying, "Well, baseball season's around the corner," after getting upset with the basketball team last night. And again, I don't think it's time to jump ship from the basketball team, but I'm just so fascinated to see what they look like this year. Obviously, finally have that huge momentum in the program. But that's the one thing that sometimes. You've got to move the bar up now, because now that you've captured the league, that's kind of the ultimate goal, that everything you fight for and try to get as, but once you're the top dog, now you got the X on your back, everybody's going to be gunning for you. And then you've got to kind of move your goal up. It's not just repeat as Big Ten champs, but what's after that?
Right. Well, if you're talking about the big three sports, football, baseball, basketball, there's no doubt Bolt's number one on that list.
Oh, yeah.
And it's not even close. And then, Frost and Hoiberg are somewhere down there around 5, and there's only 2 spots.
Which is crazy, because if you ranked them at the time of their hire, when Bill Moose's hires, Bolt was fine. Yeah, good hire, but it wasn't a Hoiberg or Frost type of hire.
But he was a legacy hire.
Yeah.
I mean, he played at Nebraska. He played for Dave Van Horn, the best coach to ever coach at Nebraska by far. And those legacy hires that we've seen with Nebraska football don't always work. But this is one that seems to be working maybe better than any of them since Tom Osborne.
Yeah.
Since Devaney handed the car keys to Tom Osborne. Maybe I'm overstating things. Frank Solich had some success, but if you're talking about just the big three, basketball's had no success outside of Danny Nee.
And Tim Miles year.
And Tim Miles year. But they've still not ever won an NCAA tournament game. Nebraska's had success. They've been to the College World Series 3 times. I think it's 3.
Yeah.
And they're winning championships. They're actually showing you that a culture can be built in a tough sport to win in the Big Ten, cold weather environment. They're doing it, and they're not scared. Those guys, we talk to them enough. And Lance Harvell is not scared. Bolt is not scared. Those guys embrace challenges, and they chase them down and win.
Well, as we know, too, the next thing that might be coming around the corner is how to keep Will Bolt, because if you do have another big successful year, he's going to be on the top of those lists. But he's that alumni thing should help.
We've had that conversation with Lance Harvell, and Bolt really, he doesn't just say it. He's an alum of Nebraska, and he loves being here.
Oh, yeah.
It wasn't like that for Dave Van Horn. He went to school at Arkansas. So he went back to Arkansas. I get that. He bleeds red. And believe me, he's already had chances.
Oh, yeah.
He's already had chances. If he wanted to bolt.
There you go.
From Nebraska, he could have done it. But he truly loves it here. And he's a great baseball coach. He can almost coach baseball or coach football the way he coaches baseball. He's a tenacious dude. I love what they teach. I think it's a real deal that's going to be around for a while. And who knows? Preseason favorite? Probably. Even with all the faces they lost, it'll be one of the preseason favorites, I think. Let's go to break. Come back with Steve Sipple of the Lincoln Journal-Star. We'll talk to him next.
Download our app by searching 93.7 A Ticket in your app store to stay in touch and listen all day long wherever you are. This is Tom and Bock.
Your home should not be a zoo to unwelcomed animals. Let the experts at Bats to Rats take care of those problems. Dane has been a leader in wildlife and pest management and prevention in Lincoln and the surrounding area for 15 years. He can help you get rid of bats, rodents, and anything else. Whether it's residential or commercial buildings, schools, apartments, or churches, they're always a phone call away. Call today at 402-310-0904 or visit batsterats.com. Bats to Rats Wildlife Control and Prevention.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Sponsored by John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning.
We'll see decreasing cloud cover, but a much cooler day on the way for our Wednesday, topping out at 48 with northwest winds gusting to around 25. Mainly clear tonight, a low down to around 26. It will be partly to mostly sunny tomorrow and cool with a high of around 45. I'm meteorologist Tim Wright for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
At Coppell Chevrolet GMC, we are thankful for so many things this year, starting with our great employees, a generous community, our military personnel, and most importantly, our loyal customer base that continues to drive that money-saving mile of Louisville. Hi, this is Sean Callahan, and on behalf of everybody at Coppell, we want to wish you a happy Thanksgiving and safe travels to wherever they may take you. Happy holidays from Coppell Chevrolet GMC.
At Southeast Community College, we know that winter isn't even here yet, but spring is already on our minds. Registration for the spring 2022 semester is open now. Whether you want to get a head start on a 4-year degree, learn a new trade with a certificate program, or add to your job skills, SCC has a class for you. Spring semester starts January 10th. Learn more about our more than 60 programs of study online at southeast.edu. SCC, your path to possible.
Welcome to today's episode of The Great Unknowns. Last time we talked about why chickens can't just cross the road in peace. Today's topic is the great unknowns of the future. Like, am I ready for what life throws at me? Well, that answer is easy. Just call a local State Farm agent. State Farm agents will help you plan for the what-ifs in life so you know what to expect if the unexpected happens. When you want the real deal, like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Call your local State Farm agent, Vinny Kreekak, at 402-474-1173.
Security First Bank. We're the bank, and we make your mortgage more manageable with flexible terms, trusted advice, and competitive rates. When you work with us, we'll know your name, but we'll also get to know your home dreams too. Security First Bank of Lincoln. Voted best small bank in Nebraska by Newsweek magazine. Member FDIC, equal housing lender. NMLS number 505011.
Another packed fall sports season means it's time to get to N Street Drive-In to fill up on all your beverage needs. November's beers of the month are from Nebraska Brewing Company, Oscar Blues Dale's Pale Ale, and Avery Brewing. Also, make sure to download the new N Street Drive-In app to order online and to set up delivery right to your front door. And don't forget their top-notch Crowler fill system. N Street Drive-In, your one-stop beverage stop at 1801 O Street.
Want a free pair of Nebraska football tickets? Head to theticketfm.com's contest tab and register for a free pair of tickets each week of a home game, courtesy of Ben Bleicher with Professional Realty Group of Woods Brothers and 93.7 The Ticket. You're listening to Tom and Bock on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome back. Oh, it is. I am running on fumes here, Bock.
I can hear
that.
Hey, you
might
lost
have to
it.
Take it over.
All right, while Tom gets his
man.
voice right there.
It's over.
There it is.
It's over. No, it's
All right,
over.
there it is.
No,
There
it's
it is.
coming back. Let's welcome in Steve Sipple, the Lincoln Journal Star. Hi, Steve. How are you?
Are you imitating my voice, or are you really hoarse?
No, I'm man. I am really hoarse. I couldn't do that voice otherwise.
What do you got? What do you got?
I don't know. I've had COVID twice, so it's not that. And I've been vaccinated up the wazoo. So I'm all good.
So you've got a little cold.
I think it's a cold. I think it's just a cold. But I'll make it through. We've only got a half an hour left of the show.
Okay, well, thank you for pushing through.
Oh, no, thank you for being you, Steve. I wanted to talk about this because that Monday presser made me think, new ideas and where they're going with the offense next year. Were there any clues left by Scott Frost on Monday about the future of the Nebraska offense?
I don't. Thinking back, nothing popped in my head unless I missed something, which is always possible.
Yeah.
But I know nothing.
Well,
nothing jumped out at me that was an obvious clue.
Right. But it feels like Scott Frost talked about, not wanting to stray too far from what they have done.
Yes.
However,
that's true.
He wanted fresh ideas. He did talk about that, which made me think, well, maybe it's not somebody inside the circle. What do you think?
Oh, I think that's Yeah, I mean, I think. Well, oh, I know. I mean, I always, you got to choose my words carefully because I haven't reported everything. But I know they're open to fresh ideas. I know it for a fact. Now, it's the reason I didn't kind of take what you suggested as a clue is because I've sort of expected all along, or I would hope, I guess, that whatever offensive coordinator they ultimately decide on has an offense that would fit the personnel. So in that sense, Tom, I don't think you'd want to stray too far from what you've been doing. You understand?
Yeah.
I mean, in fact, if I'm looking for an offensive coordinator, one of the top 2 or 3 questions I'm asking him is, okay, when you look at our video, do you see personnel that you can make work in your system? So no, I don't think you could stray too far because you have to make it work with the personnel on hand, understanding that can be tweaked through the portal to a certain extent. But no, I don't think you could afford to stray too far.
Did you find it kind of odd? I mean, I think a lot of people saw a couple of the firings probably going, writing on the wall for a few of those guys, but for all 4 of them in particular, the offensive coordinator Lubick was kind of a surprise to me. The offense is somewhat hamstrung by the offensive line and some of the problems that you have that, when you talk about personnel, I know a lot of times we talk about the wide receivers, running back, stuff like that, but a lot of it has to do with, how long can you trust your quarterback to sit back there and, without taking a hit?
Well, Bock, I mean, Lubick had the offensive coordinator tag, but I always kind of compare it to the Pelini situation. Scott is the coordinator. I mean, it's Scott's offense. So, I mean, I don't think Matt was in position. If you look at Matt's resume, I don't think he was in position really to say, "Hey, just make me you have the coordinator right here that can take over the offense and allow you to step back into this CEO role that they're talking about." I don't think Matt has that sort of background right now where he can do that. And so I think you got to go look for someone that does have that, Bock. I understand what you're saying, but hey, I mean, I look at it a little differently than a lot of people, I think. I look at it like Scott essentially fired himself as the OC. I mean, or a more palatable way to put it is he wants to take a different role within the program, back off the day-to-day grind of putting together a game plan and deal with personnel issues and the play sheet during games, and turn all that over. And the other part is, if you want fresher ideas, then you're going outside. And Matt's inside, and it just didn't work out. And the other thing I've heard about Matt, I don't mind saying it publicly, it's possible that Scott would have had to talk him back anyway into coaching. He had to talk him out of that sort of hiatus, and it might have been a situation where he would have had to talk him back anyway. In a sense, I don't even look at Lubick as a firing. He might have had to talk him back.
Steve Sipple, go ahead, Bock.
Yeah, he's lost. Steve Sipple of the Lincoln Journal Star, of course, joining us here on Tom and Bock, discussing this, kind of the change that we've seen this offseason. I do want to, it's kind of weird. The whole scenario that we're in is that there is a game this week, and there's a lot of talk about 2022 and beyond, and the focus is kind of changed that way. How much pressure? I mean, do you think there's a possibility that this move was partially made to kind of take the pressure off of these games, and maybe Nebraska can play a little bit better without, this kind of do or die feeling that would have been here, with a lot of people saying, well, they got to at least get to 5 wins. This is ridiculous.
Not a bad theory. I haven't thought of that until right now. I do. Yeah, in a sense, I think, yeah, Bock, now that you mention it, it does. That's a brighter, more optimistic view of the situation than I would have framed it up as. It's the sort of scary thing, and the unappealing conversation is that these games almost feel forgotten. like, oh yeah, there's still 2 games to play. That's a horrible, horrible, awful sentiment. Not good at all for the kids. And I'd never want to look at it that way, and I'd never write it that way. But I've had people, suggest that. Does it feel like the season's over? And because so much of the conversation is about what we started with, staff changes, future relationship between AD and coach going forward, restructured contract, etc. Oh yeah, and there's this game against the number 1 defense in the country. But now, now that you mention it, I guess in a way it does take pressure off. We're not talking about Adrian Martinez. We're not focusing on the tackles at Nebraska and the huge job they have. So yeah, Bock, that's a good way to put it. I do think this situation has taken some pressure off the guys.
If you're game planning for this week to beat Wisconsin, how do you think you approach it? Are you because without JoJo Doman, I think on the defensive side of the ball, it kind of is what it is. But offensively, with all your new assistants, Wisconsin has one of the top defenses in the nation. Do you think that, they've kind of approached games so, in the past against, better opponents as, let's ball control and make sure to keep the ball out of their hand. But, Wisconsin does that themselves. So how do you approach this, do you think?
Yeah, Bock, I'm terrible with football strategy. I'm better when I think about how am I going to get this coach to talk, or how are we going to report this offensive coordinator thing. I'm really bad strategically. I know what I've seen from Wisconsin because I've seen them 3 times. I've seen 3 full games. And the challenge offensively, as I see it, is for Adrian to really be mindful of this. They can get home with 4 rushers. You don't always know where number 4 is coming from either. Usually a linebacker, and they might send a guy from the outside, might loop him inside. But here's the key, Bock. They're getting home with 4. They don't need to bring 5. Okay. They don't need to bring 6. They bring 4 and sometimes 3 and get home. Okay. Now, why do I raise that? Because think about it. Adrian's had some issues with turnovers, 4 interceptions against Purdue. Wisconsin's dropping 7 and 8 back in that's and with pressure on him. You see what I'm getting at. I think this game could be close, but the way it could get out of hand could be like it happened against Purdue. If you happen to see that game, it was 30-13. It was because Purdue turned it over 5 times. And otherwise it was very manageable for Purdue. But if Adrian turns it over 3 times, that's how the score could get out of control.
And before we get to basketball, I don't know if you've released your pick yet or anything like that, but how do you see this game going on Saturday?
The basketball game for Nebraska?
No, the Wisconsin football game. We'll get to basketball in a second.
Yeah. Oh, I think it's close. But what I just said is what's on my mind the most, and that's Wisconsin pass rush coupled with the way they defend the passing game, which is they do it really well. In that they can drop guys, and that can create problems. I see there's a close game though, Bock. Here's why: because I don't think Wisconsin can get much going offensively against Nebraska. I really don't. I like Braylon Allen. I respect the 17-year-old kid and what he's done, but Nebraska's seen better running backs and held them down. I just think it's going to be extremely low scoring. Like I could see Wisconsin. I'd have to pick Wisconsin. Close. I haven't put a score out there. I'd be inclined to say something like 17-10. Close game down to the wire.
Yeah, I can kind of see that happening too, and it's just strange where we are. Like you said, somewhat of a forgotten game, top 15 opponent, 7-year rival. All these things going into it, and it just doesn't seem like there's too much buildup. But I still think it'll be a good game.
I completely 100% agree. It's a very, very strange scenario that we're in. But I'd be really, really, really surprised if that game's if it's one-sided.
Still talking with Steve Sipple, the Lincoln Journal-Star. Let's jump to basketball. Of course, last night, speaking of droughts, Nebraska now 10 out of 11 losses to Creighton, and Creighton just looks like a well-oiled machine despite having to reload. Nebraska not quite looking like that. How much of that do you think is somewhat of a point guard problem right now, where they have, they still have Verge kind of adjusting to his new role?
Well, that's a huge factor in that game. And in fact, that was a huge matchup, or a huge storyline. The respective point guards, and I think the difference in the game is the point guard play Creighton got compared to Nebraska's. Now, it gets complicated though, Bock, as a lot of sports conversations do. There's no way it would be fair to put that loss on Alonzo Verge or Nebraska's struggles on Alonzo Verge, because as I wrote in a column that I think is up on the Journal Star now, Fred in a very short time this season has a lot of headaches on that. They have a lot of issues, and point guard's probably number one. But I think you can make it work with Verge. It's just going to, as Fred addressed after the game, it's going to take a change in mindset on Verge's part. Got to go from a scorer's mentality to more of a point guard mentality, which I don't know. I mean, humans are complicated. It's easier said than done. We'll see on all that. But I think just as maybe as big an issue to me, and I didn't really write it this way, and I wish I would have, the inside presence for Nebraska is just it's not there. I mean, they got out rebounded again by 14, 50-36 last night, and we're not even talking about it. And I think the reason we're not talking about it is because I think anytime Nebraska plays a formidable team now, we just expect Nebraska to get out rebounded. And that's not Bock. That is okay against some non-conference opponents, but it hardly will ever work in the Big Ten. And I have contended since Fred took the job that my concern is his sort of indifference toward the paint, and having a guy that, Bock, you've watched his hoops for a long time. Nebraska, they're kind of known for scoring droughts.
Yeah.
Well, one sure way to avoid those is to have a 7-footer you can feed it to, who's good with his back to the basket and can get you easy baskets during those droughts. They're all over the Big Ten. Those guys are all over. Trace Jackson Davis, Hunter Dickinson, E.J. Liddell, Kofi Coburn, Zach Edey, Travion Williams. They're all over it, but Nebraska doesn't have that. They don't have a guy that you can say, go to him, get us a basket, stop this drought. And I think that when you have a team that relies so much on outside shooting, that can really be helpful.
Yeah, that would really be helpful. Maybe Nebraska, they got a lot of these younger guys still learning the game of basketball, still getting better. Do you see a lot of potential? I know a lot of people wouldn't throw the season out 3 games in, but do you see at least potential for this group with last night, some of the role players stepping up and maybe if you can get those role players hot the same night that you get, McGowan's and Verge going, you could really have something here long term.
Oh, yeah. Couple things, Bock. Number one, there's no way that you give up on this season at 1-2. That's silly. I mean, and I know you're not, but anybody that I'm sort of shocked by some of the people I hear from. They're 1-2. They're 3 games in. Yeah, Fred's got some headaches, but that's why coaches get paid, to address them. And there's some things he can probably tweak to make it look a little bit better. Now, the one thing I take issue with, Bock, is they're not a young team. I don't think they're not young. I mean, they're new. I mean, it's kind of a new team, but their point guard Verge is a 23-year-old guy. I mean, Lat Mayan is in his last year of college basketball, probably. Trey McGowan's, God bless him, he's hurt and it's terrible, but he's probably in his last year of college basketball as a junior. Derek Walker's not a young guy. I mean, he's in his 5th year of college basketball. They're not young. That's the thing. They have some young players and they have some new players, but the way college basketball is now, you kind of think that they're young because you haven't seen a lot of these guys, but a lot of these guys are not. Hey, Bock, roster's going to turn over again to a large degree next year.
Oh yeah, that happens in college basketball, like you said, all the time. Very insightful stuff from a Husker Extra Sip there on Twitter. Steve Sipple of the Lincoln Journal-Star, and of course of Early Break here on 93.7 The Ticket. Thanks for your time today, Steve.
Thanks, Steve.
Well, yeah, thank you for having me, Tom. I hope you get better.
I'm gonna
Take it easy. Take it easy.
I appreciate it.
I'll take it.
No, he thought I was doing an impression of him. Early. Now it's gotten much worse than even that impression. I mean, I don't even know what it sounds like at this point.
I don't know. Yeah. Now you wish you sounded like the Simpson sisters.
That's right.
You don't quite have it.
Man.
You said you're going to make it to the end of the show.
We are limping to the finish line. We'll do that. We'll have the pregame coming up next.
You're listening to Tom and Bock. Watch live on Facebook, YouTube, or Twitch.
Security First Bank. We're the bank, and we make your mortgage more manageable with flexible terms, trusted advice, and competitive rates. When you work with us, we'll know your name, but we'll also get to know your home dreams too. Security First Bank of Lincoln. Voted Best Small Bank in Nebraska by Newsweek magazine. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender. NMLS number 505011.
Working at Continental in Lincoln isn't a job, it's a career. And right now, they're hiring for production operators at $21.72 an hour and other select jobs starting at $23.42 an hour, with wages growing up to $27.55 an hour. Continental also has salary jobs available with great benefits, plus medical and prescription costs at very low premiums. Dental, vision, and life insurance are offered at no premium cost to the associates. To learn more or apply, go to continentaljobs.com with keyword Lincoln. Come work at Continental today.
At Koppel Chevrolet GMC, we are thankful for so many things this year, starting with our great employees, a generous community, our military personnel, and most importantly, our loyal customer base that continues to drive that money-saving mile of Louisville. Hi, this is Sean Callahan, and on behalf of everybody at Koppel, we want to wish you a happy Thanksgiving and safe travels to wherever they may take you. Happy holidays from Koppel Chevrolet GMC.
At Southeast Community College, we know that winter isn't even here yet, but spring is already on our minds. Registration for the spring 2022 semester is open now. Whether you want to get a head start on a 4-year degree, learn a new trade with a certificate program, or add to your job skills, SCC has a class for you. Spring semester starts January 10th. Learn more about our more than 60 programs of study online at southeast.edu. SCC, your path to possible.
A new Planet Fitness location is coming soon. To celebrate, you can join before we open for just $1 down, $10 a month. We're squeaky clean and ready to welcome you with tons of equipment and plenty of space to spread out. So join the judgment-free zone today. We're ready when you are. Just $1 down, $10 a month. Offer ends soon. Join us today.
Planet Fitness Lincoln opening a third location soon, just east of 84th and Layton. Join now.
Planet Fitness locations are independently owned and operated. See club for details.
Lincoln's mega liquidation store is here. Wholesale Logistics is now open on West O Street as a bin store with tons of liquidation pallets, appliances, mattresses, furniture, and more. Brand new mattresses 30 to 60% off retail with well-known brands. New furniture also 30 to 60% off retail value. Brand new LG scratch and dent appliances 35 to 40% off retail. Wholesale Logistics purchases truckloads of smaller items from major retailers and throws them into bins, with everything starting at just $8. Get to Wholesale Logistics, open each Friday to Tuesday from 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. at 2811 West O Street.
Starting the right career is one of the most important decisions you'll ever make. You want to enjoy your career, be challenged, have fun, earn a great weekly paycheck, and work for a great company. If you're looking for a career change or right out of high school, the John Henry's Plumbing Apprentice Program may be the perfect answer. You'll get paid while getting hands-on training. We focus on your skills while you engage in real-world learning. Why not join the John Henry's team today? Apply at jhlincoln.com. That's jhlincoln.com.
John Henry's Plumbing, heating and air.
You're listening to Tom and Bock on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome back. Final segment of Tom and Bock. Somebody says I sound like Matt Davis a little bit.
There you go. That's your goal. Was
maybe more like Tom Osborne at this point.
Yeah. It started as you almost sounded like Sipple, which is a different voice.
A little bit.
Now it's fading to Davidson and close to Osborne.
Somebody else on the text line thinks I'm giving a teary-eyed speech.
Yeah, you're bringing your emotions are
I'm
coming.
emotional right now. But this is the pregame, and Bock, I have nothing left, man. So just lead us wherever you want to go and take it home.
All right, we will do so. I think Nick and Rico might be in here in a minute for the pregame. First, I did want to give away our winner of the Beatrice Bakery giveaway that we like to do. We like to spread some smiles around here. And thanks to Beatrice Bakery, we are able to do that. We're going to give a package away to FoodNet of Lincoln. If you haven't heard of them, their slogan is tummy fill, not landfill. So a lot of some extra food that goes around. A lot of churches and volunteers get together and kind of nonprofit organization to try to stop the waste of food around Lincoln and give it to people in need. And it's been phenomenal. My grandma's volunteered there for many years.
Nice.
So I've been able to get up and close and personal, and even volunteered there a few times, and it's just very cool organization what they do there. So we're going to give a gift package from Beatrice Bakery to them. Beatrice Bakery is home of Grandma's Fruitcake since 1964. Full menu includes artisan cakes, liquor cakes, breakfast breads, and coffee cakes. We've tried a few of them. We are very, very pleased with anything that we bite into from Beatrice Bakery. Perfect for holiday gatherings, birthdays, or any of life's everyday occasions. Find them online at beatricebakery.com. Once again, the winner of the package today from Beatrice Bakery will be FoodNet of Lincoln. Nick and Rico are in here. You guys gonna want to give us your best Tom voice for now?
Yeah, I just happy to be here. Happy to be here. I was really upset with your basketball, and I just couldn't stand.
Shut up.
I just couldn't get any shot.
Oh, that hurts my throat.
Probably won't be here.
It's good radio.
This
really
this
good
is really
sounds
good. Just
sounds like
mocking
Adam
Tom.
Sandler.
It definitely got worse. It definitely got worse.
Tom,
you need
just,
to go home.
Just stop.
You need to
Just stop.
He's
Go home.
5 minutes away.
Just go home.
go home and just
All
sleep.
right. I'm done. I'm out.
He can scream, and it still won't be too loud.
Yeah, Tom is taking off the headset. He's just done. Day's over.
You made it.
You made it.
Hey, don't let them bully you out of here. You've got 3 more minutes.
You made it
You've
through
made
2 hours and 40 minutes.
Yeah.
50
That's it.
minutes. Yeah,
Couldn't
2
be
hours
done.
and 50 minutes. I'm proud of you.
They said it couldn't be done.
I wanted to get you guys.
I don't know if it has been done.
Oh, it's getting done.
I don't know.
There's
I
a
don't
few
know.
more minutes. He's going to make it.
I don't know if it's actually going to be done.
I wanted to get your guys' reaction to a fun story. I guess depending on how you look at it, from TMZ Sports, saying Matt Stafford's wife had to apologize for hurling her pretzel at a 49ers fan at the game the other night because she got an altercation. She's very embarrassed by it and all that. She calls it a weak
sure.
moment. But what would you, have you guys? How would you react to having a pretzel thrown at you?
I would eat it.
You would eat it.
I would eat it.
I would
Yeah.
not. I'm normal.
I'd be like, thank you. I'd be like, thank you for the free pretzel.
One of the big doughy ones are good.
Yeah,
That's-
as long as they throw me,
Yeah,
throw
the
some
big doughy
cheese.
ones. Yeah.
So
cheese.
some cheese
speaking
at
of pretzels, I was in the mall today, and
I didn't know
Auntie
where
Anne's-
this was
Oh
going.
yeah, that's really good.
Auntie Anne's.
Yeah, that's
I
good.
walked by, and that place smells
Get you every
better
time.
and better. The more
Every
and more
time.
you're in there.
I'm a cookie company guy. Cookie company.
Oh yeah. The
I'm a
mall's
cookie
got-
company.
It's like after he rests for a moment, he can get enough energy. He's like, I'm a cookie.
He's got like one sentence in him.
Yeah, he's got like 2 words, and it's just like, oh no, Tom, we're not talking today.
I'm not giving up.
Yes.
I'm proud of you. He's a fighter.
He has.
Yeah.
He's been fighting through at the beginning
Yeah, no.
of the day. It sounded kind of like we said, he's kind of sounded like Sipple. Now by the end of the day, sounds like Tom Osborne. But he's coming along. He's made it.
I made it.
If that was my wife, I would be proud of her for throwing a pretzel. Unless she didn't hit the person, I'd be disappointed. I'd be like, you're more accurate than that.
I always
Come on.
wonder, where does that get you in life?
What, throwing a pretzel?
Throwing a pretzel, throwing
That
stupid
gets
stuff.
you pretty far. Get you on TMZ.
Well, it can't hurt anybody.
Do you want to be on TMZ?
Maybe.
Probably not. I think
That
she's
sounded like Tom.
embarrassed.
TMZ.
I don't think you want to be on TMZ.
If I was on TMZ, I'd be happy, depending on the story, I guess.
Your
Exactly.
goal was one of your goals to be on TMZ.
Yes, I
eventually?
want TMZ to report on something I did.
What do you do that's fascinating?
I don't know.
enough to
That's the
have
thing.
TMZ
That I have
report
to do
on?
something very important in my life to get on TMZ.
Man,
TMZ. Once I get on TMZ, I've made it. That's how you know you've made it.
Is this true? I don't know if this is true, but I was just reading this. Is the Staples Center being changed
To
to Crypto.com?
the Crypto.com Center.
That's
Stupid.
BS. I will
Garbage.
never call it that.
It's still the Staples Center.
That's the Staples Center.
Just like the CHI Health Center is still the Quest Center to me. 2 name changes ago.
I did let that one go.
2 name changes ago.
But Staples Center's iconic.
Yeah. Well, there's like no Staples anymore. I mean, there's one on O Street.
$200 million.
And
That's big. That's big.
Was it in crypto?
Did they invest in crypto?
Yeah. Was it Bitcoin?
Also, did you guys see the rumors that Lincoln Riley's heading to LSU?
I've seen those rumors. Yeah.
How are we feeling about
Cool. That's a terrible decision by him, but
it would be fun to not have Lincoln Riley come to Lincoln next year.
I had this guy.
I see what you did.
Better job.
Hey,
in
Tom,
the
Tom,
SEC.
can you speak up a little bit?
Better job in the SEC, LSU or Oklahoma.
Oklahoma.
LSU. In the SEC.
Oklahoma.
No, LSU.
In the SEC, though?
LSU. Oklahoma.
Rico, get out of town.
LSU is the best job.
It's
in
still
college
Oklahoma.
football, probably.
It's still Oklahoma.
Next
Oklahoma has had
Alabama.
Oklahoma has more success than LSU aside from that one national championship with the fantastic team and the terrible coaching
What
and
are you
everything.
talking about?
Wait,
The
no,
last-
Oklahoma there?
Oklahoma goes into the SEC
LSU's
all
won
of a sudden.
3 national titles since Oklahoma's won. A
Oklahoma
national title.
goes into the SEC. They open up more recruiting ground. They still get all those players from Texas. Oklahoma's still a better job.
I don't know. I don't think so.
Lincoln Riley is dumb for leaving
Oklahoma's
Oklahoma for LSU.
an incredible job, and he hasn't left. Don't call him dumb. It hasn't happened.
If he leaves Oklahoma for LSU, it's dumb.
Yeah, I saw it was like a Tom Luganbill gut feeling. That's why this whole story came up.
Yeah, and then
so I don't
now,
know if that means
now
anything.
they're watching planes. People are watching planes.
Plane watch season.
And it's
Happer, it's your specialty.
It's plane watch season, and it's they're saying that private jets were going from Norman, or no, I saw this one today, and it was like private jet taking off from Baton Rouge, and then it was like heading towards Oklahoma. We'll see where it lands. And then it was like an update, and they're like, it has descended to the Norman, Oklahoma City area.
It has landed.
And then it's like, it has landed at the Norman airport.
We need
no tail number.
We need to start getting those grocery store sightings and stuff for the offensive coordinator position coming around, right?
You should not.
Justin Fuente.
Justin
Somebody-
Fuente.
What?
There you go. There's an opening.
What?
Somebody thinks I sound like the Godfather. You think that's what I sound like?
That's a very nice way of putting
Make
it,
him
I
an offer
suppose.
he can't refuse.
That's right.
Tom,
right,
enjoy the day off tomorrow.
It might be a couple days.
I'm not giving you the day off. I'm not at liberty, but I feel like you should probably not do a radio show.
I'm gonna make it back tomorrow.
That'll wrap it up for Tom and Bock. Happy hour up next.
No doubt about it, a water softener saves you money. Don't have one? Call the plumbers at Bryant. Just one call and no arm-twisting contracts. For a free estimate, call 467-1111 or go to BryantLincoln.com.
Early break with Sip and Jake.
This is what Rob Aller says. Ryan Day is clearly comfortable enough in his own unshaven skin not to care what others think. Whether that means saying goodbye to facial grooming or going for it on 4th and 3, when the prudent play might be to kick a field goal.
Do you hear yourself talking right now?
I read
This
it.
is ridiculous.
I read it on Sunday and did not think it was ridiculous.
You're crazy.
I did not think it was
that's so
ridiculous.
dumb.
I didn't think it was ridiculous.
Early break with Sip and Jake from 6 to 8 every weekday morning on 93.7 The Ticket.
Experiencing increased body fat, low sex drive, lack of energy, or general fatigue? Vitalize Health offers testosterone replacement therapy and peptide therapy to boost hormone levels and build muscle mass. Call Vitalize Health today at 402-413-0717 or go on